What does the acronym FLOOD stand for in the hit game Super Mario Sunshine device?
So here's the thing. Fluid liquid ultra dowsing device is so stupid Nintendo might have written it.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Quentin here. I'm fine, babe.
This is Ethan. Nah, I'm gonna go. Don't worry, Devin's here. This is time. Let's rock and roll!
Welcome to the Power Up Brothers podcast, where the podcast doesn't matter, and our points also don't matter, and our voices don't matter, but they are the same. And I'm Quentin.
And I'm not introducing myself.
No, why would we do that? The
See?
intro does
Yeah,
that
come
for
on.
us.
The intro does that for us.
What a
but
waste of time.
You don't have to introduce yourself. I introduced myself because I want them to
We're
hear
here.
my name.
We're here.
We're here in the new set.
We are.
Rachel's here in the new set.
Yeah.
Hi, Rachel.
We're
She's
not
gonna...
lit like we're on death row anymore.
Hey, Ethan, here's a question for you. How many times are we going to draw attention to the fact that we have a new set and don't record in a morgue?
You guys guess how many times
Every
we're going to do
episode.
that.
As many as it takes.
At least as
Okay.
many episodes as we recorded in the morgue.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we got
Yeah.
like 5 more.
we got like 5
Yeah,
more
at
before
least.
we're... Okay.
We did 11.
like
Oh,
11.
in the...
so we've got like 9,
Well,
a lot
10
more.
more.
Producer Rachel doesn't watch
How many
the
were
show.
released?
I sure don't.
of that 11.
What'd you say?
How many were released of that 11?
Oh no, with the
All of them. We
Yeah.
did 14 counting the...
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, this is
really?
14,
My
but
God.
the first 3.
This is 15.
How did we get through that many
What is
episodes? of
time?
Morgue?
Yeah.
Time is not linear, guys. I am legally obligated to tell you that you should like and subscribe, even though I personally don't believe that. Daddy algorithm demands you like and
I don't even
subscribe
think
if we're going to grow.
This
So
is-
please, don't let us be fed to the
Don't do
YouTube on the YouTube bonfires. A Google representative actually came to my house this morning with a gun. Pointed at my wife's head
Ties?
and said,
Ties
"You
stuttering.
have to get people to like and subscribe, or I am going to give you some new colored sheets." And-
isn't like,
And
just
that
like
was
last
it.
time, he's like the and then your last time you were like, well, come to the Pebble podcast.
Yeah, it was
I did
really...
that. The last time it was on purpose. This time it was because I just
you know,
guessed
here's the
my
thing.
role.
How was your guys' week?
Oh,
Not
you know,
'cause
mine was wonderful.
I never want to know about his.
Yeah, no one.
How was your
cares.
guys' week?
good,
Good.
good.
Yeah. People like to hear about things in your life, even if it's just arguing with insurance agents.
No, I didn't do that this week.
Oh,
The week was not that
they
productive.
beat you down finally.
The week wasn't that productive. I said, no, thank you. I can't afford life insurance.
Just take the insurance off.
Yeah, yeah.
No, thank you. I can't afford life.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't do
next
it.
week.
Yeah.
That's next week with my doctor.
I had quite a good week. One of the things that has been a real joy is in moving the podcast. It's not just been that the set is fantastic and we mention it every time, but also that we record on a different day now, which has freed up my previous day to rejoin an art group I was a part of before the podcast started, and I went back, and it was fantastic. I had such a good time being back. I showed up super late, and everything was going wrong when I got there, and it was like absolutely everything was on fire. And then when it wasn't on fire, the second it wasn't, it was absolute zen.
Great.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
My only complaint is we always hit this little like dive bar, a bunch of us.
Yeah.
And afterwards, and I get this amazing sandwich, but it is like, you know how like there are video games where like there's a random chance for the best item in the game to become the worst, or like a chest that normally contains just like a potion to have like the Zodiac spear or something. in it, right?
I played terrible games.
This is like that. This is like that. Is that this sandwich is literally my favorite sandwich I've ever eaten in my life. But every so often it comes to me like
terrible,
a fake amalgam of the sandwich.
Yeah.
That tastes just horrid. And I got it, and it was the first time I was back, and I was like, I can't wait to dig into this sandwich. And I bite into it, and it like immediately like falls apart.
You're an American, my friend. It is your God-given right to send
return
that
your
sandwich
order,
back.
He'll never do it though.
You pay.
He'll never do
You
it.
pay more than
Way
you
too
should.
passive.
I once
Way
sent
passive.
back a sandwich 4 times at that very restaurant
Mhm.
and demanded that they gave me my drink for free.
Yeah.
They
And,
definitely spit in
I
your food.
actually had an experience that made me transcend. I went back in time into Ethan's brain as
Oh.
a small child because I had the exact same experience that he did as a small child. Would you believe that?
The same with a sandwich.
It's no.
With
a
an art
surgeon butchered me, and then I played A Link to the Past. Isn't that
Oh.
incredible?
Oh yeah, well,
See?
that's true.
You see, because this guy right here had his appendix ripped out of him by hand and teeth, and then he played A Link to the Past in the hospital.
for the first time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't my first time playing A Link to the Past. I had that
It was
experience
my
in
first
my
time
youth.
playing Super Mario Kart.
Mhm.
Wasn't it when you were in the hospital?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
There's some Power
man.
Up Brothers lore.
Yeah.
That's some Power Brothers lore. What did you play while I was getting butchered?
This feels like a good time
Red
to
Dead
remind
Redemption,
our
yeah.
viewers that these are 4 brothers.
Yeah.
Who
weird.
grew up in the
Way-
same house and the same parents.
We're 4 biological brothers,
Yeah.
if you'll believe it.
Allegedly.
Though we haven't gotten
Sorry,
the
it
test
wasn't.
results back.
Sorry, it wasn't clear enough. We're gonna change the name to Brothers
Yes.
Pod Brothers, so that it's obvious.
We're changing the name to Biological Brothers Podcast.
You almost messed
You
it up.
almost get the words out every
Broad.
time.
Broadcast.
The
Blood. I'm on a diet and I don't have enough.
No, is that it?
Calories to burn to
That
talk
palsy's
We're
to
making it
changing
real
it to the
hard.
Mushmouth
Yeah.
podcast.
Mushmouth.
Okay.
We can't pronounce
Yeah.
that. Quinn.
No, we
No.
can't
There's
pronounce
no way.
Mushmouth.
Quinn,
You know-
you know
I
we
could
can't
pronounce
pronounce.
Yeah. Do you know what I
biological.
can pronounce? The news. I like
Listen,
it. I like
producer,
that
I
it's-
haven't said a word.
Oh, she'll hold it
I
up
haven't
to whoever.
said.
She'll
I
hold
was
it up to
quiet
whoever.
the whole time.
All right, guys. Here's some news. I've got some news. You got some news?
News. Oh, I've got some news for sure.
Video game news.
Yeah, I've got some news. Producer Rachel, quick,
Okay, so
quick draw.
I got something here. You guys
Yeah.
ready for this?
Let's hear it. I got some news.
PlayStation set up their history website,
Oh, neat.
their historical website, and the only thing anyone's talking about was that the Switch is like massively growing in sales. You know,
Oh.
as of recording, it's like 147 million. PS2 so far has been the highest selling with 155 million.
Because they keep selling it.
Sony released their history website. They said no, it's 160 million. You'll never catch it.
And they can't. Nobody can figure out where those 5
No
million
one
came
knows
from.
where the 5 million came from, but they're like, hey, don't worry about it. Nintendo's not beating us.
I'm gonna cut in there. I know some news.
Go for it.
Did you guys know that Nintendo they actually closed down a Chinese man's shop? He was supporting his family, a family of 12, and they closed it down. It was a shop,
Right.
kind of one of those shops. It's where you can get everything, laundry detergent, but you can also get food,
Sure.
groceries,
A bodega.
Pirated video games.
like a bodega, and you can get video games.
Bad
And,
bitches is what you're describing.
And they closed it down. The whole family starved.
Allow me to translate. Nintendo closed the eShop in China.
Is that
Yes,
what
that's what it actually
yeah.
is.
Oh, well,
But everybody
You
did
were-
starve.
I was close.
They were
you,
already started.
Quinn,
yeah,
you were thinking of the E-Mart.
they closed down the E-Mart
in China.
This guy, he owned it. At least he
I
owned
just
one.
vibe checked you.
Listen, he
Yeah.
owned 1/4 of it. The government owned the rest,
Yeah.
and it was thriving. The family was doing very well, and Nintendo, a Japanese company, overruled it. They said, "Chinese government, you have less power than us, and less money," and so they
We're
closed
only
it down.
that true.
Did it say eShop?
They did something pretty cool with the eShop when they're shutting it down. They're obviously shutting it down because of new laws coming through in China.
Yeah.
A lot of things restricting. But for many years, video game consoles were not allowed to be sold in China
No, they
because
weren't.
the Chinese government does not own a majority stake in the countries that produce them. That was
You mean the
laxed.
companies.
Yeah, thank you. The
Gotcha.
the companies that was laxed in recent years, but they're moving back toward it, and there are laws and policies, and so a bunch of things are expected to get closed down. The eShop is shutting down in China, but they are giving everybody free games.
Yeah, they are.
While the eShop is up, you won't be able to. The big caveat is once it shuts down, you won't be able to re-download games that you bought. So you got to keep them on your system, not because of because there is literally going to be no way for Nintendo to get them to
Yeah.
you.
They
The
were-
Chinese government won't allow it.
Does that mean if I have my VPN set to China and I start downloading games, can I get them for free?
Yeah,
You could get them for free with a VPN set to the United States, and I can show you how.
Okay.
anytime.
Anytime you want.
You would have to
But
have a
you-
Chinese
yeah.
account.
Which you can
Oh no,
create.
you know what? I'm sorry, you can't. All video game consoles, including the Switch in China, are region locked.
Oh, that's right.
It is the only
Well,
area
that's
that
right.
has
I'm
it
going to
region
say
locked.
on this subject, I'm in full support, Communist China.
Yeah.
I support your decisions on making fewer video games allowed, and in fact,
The only thing he
Stifling this whole
supports in
industry.
China is the ethnic cleansing.
please give me a visa. I'll move there
Yeah.
tomorrow.
This is me. What
Yeah,
I'm
that-
doing.
I have to believe.
Yeah,
me.
nothing Ty said. It's just dolphin noises, so there's no way you can
I like
hear.
to- I like to
I'm
what
not
he
say
just
gonna-
said.
I'm not
really-
giving- for this one. I'm not giving you the fox one. I'm gonna just do a dolphin sound.
So how would we know? But give me a visa, Xi Jinping. I love you. I love you.
So guys,
Just make sure he doesn't come back.
we talked a little bit last week about the Game Awards, but I want to talk about the nominees and our experience with them.
The nominees.
Our
Good, yeah.
our experience with
I
them.
played most of them.
So I'm just gonna go over a lot of the big ones. So we'll look first at Game of the Year.
Yep.
The nominees for Game of the Year are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth, Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree DLC, not real game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasio.
I haven't played any of those games, and also, how can a DLC be Game of the Year?
That's a
is
good
lot
question.
Of people's
That's a good question.
Yeah. That's a lot of people's question.
Well, I haven't played any of them, so I don't have anything to say except
Yeah.
I saw that there was that Chinese one with the monkey, and I'm just gonna say Xi Jinping, I love your monkey game.
You brought it back.
Please give me a visa.
Brought it back.
I need.
I've
out
played
of here.
all of those. I have not played. What was it?
Balatro. It's like a card game.
I don't
I've
even know
not
what that
played
one
it,
is.
But
no.
you played Black Myth Wukong.
Yes, a little.
It's like it's like Dark Souls.
It's a Souls like yeah, and
Monkey game, right.
it's good. It's quite good. I don't think it competes with the rest of the list. I think the
Yeah.
big ones to take away from this in terms of like the games that are really to beat are Astrobot, Shadow of the Erd Tree, and despite it being a DLC and not a game, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The Metaphor Refantasio is also like fantastic. It's Atlas. It's great. It doesn't look great. I think it's built on their previous game engine and not the Persona 5 engine.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it is now. Yeah, Metaphor.
But
I
it
was really
plays
scratching my
plays
head on
really
that.
well. It's quite fun. But those three games that I mentioned are like best in class. I don't know that I've ever played an action RPG that I've enjoyed as much as Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It just nails every aspect.
I think it is objectively the best game on the list of Game of the Year. I loved Astrobot. It's in like the top games of this past
And
year
you're
for
a
me.
platformer guy,
And I love platformers. But it's like Astrobot is really fun, but you know, it's sort of like, I don't know. I don't want to downplay Astrobot at all.
It's an incredible
It's
game.
one of my favorite games. I probably played it more than any of the others on the list, but it's just like Rebirth as far as like the game of the year. Like if you're going to put like, we've already talked about my issues with like putting one above the other, but if you're going to, I think Rebirth has the most like
it's an incredible
solid gameplay and everything.
The only other thing I will say is that like putting like the discussion of DLC versus games aside, because Shadow of the Erd Tree is an absolutely massive DLC.
Sure.
That's
If it
the
were-
Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it were sold as a game, it's
Right.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and it's actually hard for me between it and Rebirth. And the only reason I give it to Rebirth is I think that I'm such a big fan of Final Fantasy VII's cast already.
Yeah.
And after playing Rebirth, they're
Better.
They nailed
somehow.
it.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I just don't care that it's, you know, whether it's a big DLC. It's a DLC. You know, if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike. Okay, so
love
like
that quote.
I just don't think that, you know, if you can say, oh, it's a DLC, but it's
Yeah.
a big one. No, it's not a new
It's
game.
not a game. It's
Don't
not
put that on there.
It's an attachment to a game, and like, it's kind of. I mean, if it had just been Elden Ring 2.
played it?
No, but I mean, like,
No, I haven't played a single game.
all I
on
mean
there.
is that if you buy Shadow of the Erd Tree and you don't want to buy Elden Ring, you're out of luck.
Sure. And it's less of a game than I will say it's less of its own game than something like the Xenoblade DLCs, where it is a completely unique like cast. The game system is different, and you start back at like level 1.
But
you play
It
through
does seem like kind of a shady workaround. Like if like you can release your game and then just on an annual basis release a DLC that can once again put you into contention for game of the year. Just based on that DLC, even though the game itself came out 3 years ago.
And
Feels
there's
cheating.
there's a category that's literally called best ongoing game.
Yes.
And I don't think
what?
and Elden Ring's not in there, I don't think.
That's usually
was
reserved
Overwatch
for,
too?
Oh yeah, it's usually reserved for like
not in there,
live
no.
service and MMOs.
They almost never
right.
put DLCs in
Yeah,
there.
but it is a continuation
but
of
it
the
is a-
game.
yeah.
I do think
I
that
think
like
it should qualify.
like in my mind personally, I don't have a problem with people putting DLC as game of the year. I think arbitrarily deciding to do it for a game that already won game of the year feels a little bad. It feels a little like you're becoming Hollywood and becoming very insulated and
You're not listening to.
kind
There's
of
so
picking
many other
favorites.
games you could have highlighted.
But I don't have a problem with the practice in general, especially when the DLC is as massive and as excellent as Shadow of the Erdtree was. I do think that there should be a category for DLCs, though, because so
It'd be
many
nice.
games have them, and we should recognize excellence when it comes to making them.
Yeah.
And it shocks me that there hasn't, because like you said, there's best ongoing game, but there's almost never DLCs in there. It's almost always things like Overwatch, Final Fantasy 14, Destiny gets in there. These are live service games essentially.
Yeah.
And DLCs deserve to be recognized in some way. So on the one hand, I'm happy they are recognizing it,
but not that way.
Maybe make a new category.
I'm glad that they highlight content creators and esports players. But if an esports player won Game of the Year, I'd be like, no.
It'd be a little confusing.
Someone also said that like sequels shouldn't really be really be viable as game.
The thing is that if it's an independent game that you can just go out and play, then it's like.
This was the thing that I was like, oh, that's an interesting point, because they were like, you can go and buy 7 Rebirth and play it, but if you haven't played the first, it's not a great game. Like the story makes no sense. It's super hard to follow.
I think the gameplay,
like the
is still
characters,
quite good.
oh yeah, like gameplay's still good, but like the characters doesn't quite make sense. The story doesn't have like a great recap of the last one, but also like it emotionally leans on the previous game, and so like they sell you this one based on your experience with the last one, and it changes how you interact. So like Elden Ring, you have to buy the previous one. In Final Fantasy VII, if you don't buy the previous one, it's no longer a 10 out of 10. So it's like you still had to play the previous one to get a 10 out of 10 experience out of the current one. So both of them, you have to play the previous.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I don't know quite where I would land on that argument, but I thought it was a fascinating way of like looking at it.
To me, you have to like really corner it in just pure fact, not like how you experienced it, but just what it is. Because, Super Mario Odyssey is a sequel. And so some people would argue like, well, you don't need to play the other ones to understand its story, but you do need to play Remake. But that's the definition of nuance. Now we're nuancing this category.
Right.
Whereas like with DLC, it's just like, look, it's not that you should go back to appreciate the story or it lessens the game. You literally cannot play Shadows of the Erdtree unless you go buy Elden Ring.
And get pretty far into Elden Ring.
Oh, and it's progress log.
I think the thing he was saying is that like you could hand a kid Super Mario Odyssey, and they could play it and be like, this is the greatest game ever made. But you can't hand someone Rebirth and have them play it and then be like, this is a phenomenal game,
right?
The way that it is when you played the previous one.
Is there a category for like best writing or best story
Yeah,
for the Game Awards?
Yes.
So that feels like something that would fall more under that. No,
it feels like something where it's also like best sequel or like know, a best series. Would make kind of
which
make
funny
sense.
fun fact. Best narrative, Elden Ring's not in it.
Which is odd because Elden Ring, the year it came out, I think it won Best Narrative.
No,
God of War.
God of War did,
but it was nominated, and Shadow of the Erdtree's narrative is great.
Now that says on this cell phone, it says Silent Hill 2 is under Best Narrative here.
Yep.
And I don't know, do they mean the original Silent Hill 2?
Gotta be the remake.
That came out
Now,
this year.
is the remake, I haven't played the remake, is it like the Final Fantasy VII remake in that it is a horrifying butchering of the story for a modern, pathetic audience?
No, it's the whole
It's
thing.
1-to-1 the same?
As far as I know.
it is like the
Okay.
Resident Evil remakes.
Then
Yeah,
Silent
yeah.
Hill 2 is my
Um,
vote for best narrative because I'm assuming that the remake, as they said, is
Same
literally
narrative.
just the exact same as the original
Let's
game.
talk about this fact. Game Awards do this all the time. The Game
Mhm.
Awards, Jeff, I respect you,
I love you.
but you're insane.
No, you're a great guy. Please come on the podcast.
So you're looking at best the game of the year.
Yeah.
The list for game of the year and best game direction
Mhm.
are identical. So it's weird if Black Myth Wukong wins the game direction, but then Astrobot wins game of the year.
That is a little odd.
It's a little odd. But then here's the issue they run into all the time. Here are the nominees for best narrative, right? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Metaphor Re-Fantasio, Setsuna's Saga Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2. 2 of those are in the running for Game of the Year. I can just tell you that the other 3 cannot win.
Well, that's not necessarily true in the sense that, like, if Final Fantasy has better gameplay but not a better narrative,
Yeah,
it might
you could
win
argue
Game of the
that.
Year.
Yeah, you could argue
This
that.
is why though
It
I
just
actually
feels silly.
disagree with. I actually don't like game or picture of the year
Mhm.
and like Game Awards and because I feel like people go on and on about like comparative art, and I do think there is some value in like recognizing technical excellence even in art.
Mhm.
However, I do think that like comparing an RPG to a platformer is very apples and oranges.
Super. Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's very hard for me to say that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, even though it is probably my game of the year at this point, is a better game than Astrobot. Like,
right. How do you?
it is hard. I was actually surprised because I thought like because you were saying that you thought Rebirth was actually the better game, because I was in my brain I was like, if you're a platformer guy, it's Astrobot, and if you're an RPG guy, it's Final Fantasy. And maybe that's not true. Maybe Final Fantasy is like just that good. But in many years, I see the list for Game of the Year, and I'm like, man, if I prefer one style over the other, it's really just down to preference, because these are so different.
Yeah.
And the ways they're made and the techniques are so different.
One of the things we were talking about this the other night. One of the things that like I think sets Final Fantasy VII apart from the other contestants, because like my personal is Shadow of the Erdtree. Shadow of the Erdtree I played for like 50 hours.
Yeah.
I put in more time than I do most games.
Sure.
And it was very different than the original game, and it was jam-packed, felt like a sequel. But Final Fantasy VII-R has the sensibility of a 90s video game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about, like modern Zelda, as we go further and further in modern Zelda games, we start off with Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, where like the instrument you pull out is a full instrument. Tilt the joystick around and it changes the pitch and frequency. You can't play the songs when you do anymore because it doesn't count, and there's no use for it in game. But they were just like, it should be cool that you could do this, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was like, you know, a little kid, when YouTube first came out, one of the things I saw on YouTube was someone playing the Jurassic Park theme on the Ocarina.
It's incredible.
And I was like, my mind was blown. And then he had the list of how he played it, and I was like, that seems impossible. That's like a full instrument. Keep going, and you get like Wind Waker, which you can kind of play the little conducting thing. You can hit the chimes.
It's much more like,
and then you get to like Twilight Princess that has the hilarious wolf howling.
Oh my God.
And then you get to
I love the wolf.
and the wolf howling is hysterical.
It's awful.
You can't hit all these keys, right? And then you get to Skyward Sword, where like Link clearly has no idea what he's doing, and the only time the music sounds good on the harp is when it's a cutscene he's playing it. Otherwise, he's just like strumming it.
You
back
literally
and
just
forth.
go.
It makes no sense.
A big goofball.
They're getting further and further away, and then 7R comes out, and you can literally walk into and sit down at a piano, and it pulls up this amazing piano simulator, and then the mini, you can just sit there and just play it. You can just play whatever you want to on this piano simulator, but then also there's a mini game where it gamifies it, and it makes it a little easier to make the music sound good if you don't hit the key just right. But you hit it in kind of a Guitar Hero style way, like Cloud will like kind of compensate, and when you hit all of them in enough, you get enough perfects, suddenly the full score starts to play.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's amazing. And it's the sensibility of a Nintendo game when they were on the game 64.
Yeah.
Like everything is that way. The way the map is designed, the way that like the type and weaknesses are designed, the way the level ups are, it's the pyramids. And we can't build them again. And so I'm looking at a pyramid and I'm like, I love Shadow of the Erd Tree, but it has the sensibility of a DOS game. Right? It's like,
That's true.
You got this key.
All Dark Souls, dude.
Yeah, you got this key that looks like a piece of junk, and it's a consumable item for some reason, and the tarnished raises it up in the air and cracks it, and you get 5% more health. Well, now you can't kill the last boss anymore. Like, how's your soft locked game? That's not real, but like it is. You didn't read the text tool? You didn't go into your menu and look at the item you picked up, the head of Jabron sitting right outside the last bosses. Good luck figuring out why he's here and why he's so mad.
The last boss is like, you failed to check the README file in the folder.
Exactly.
And you're like, why would I look at that?
Instruction manual.
It's charming. I love it for that reason. That's why I liked
it. Is great.
Loved Elden Ring for the same reason. But that is something they've been able to do a bunch.
Sure.
Man, with 7, that sensibility is just...
Your little thing about Final Fantasy VII, it's almost sounded like you were saying that this Final Fantasy VII remake game was game. Yeah. And that's a load of horse hockey.
It's game.
And nobody should believe you.
It's also old game.
Listen, viewers, whatever he just said, don't be offended. He didn't know what he was saying. He doesn't know better. Don't be upset. We apologize. On behalf of the Power Up Brothers podcast, I want to apologize for him saying that new game was game when it clearly is old.
I want you to put like a little thing at this part in the video where it says like Quinn's statements do not represent the opinion of the Power Up
a little
Brothers
scroll.
I was going to ask if we could get some check marks on who's actually played it.
Yeah, that's
who has it.
I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't play it. That's like saying,
so
would you violate the law of the Chinese Communist Party? I wouldn't. Give me a visa, please. So I need out.
This kind of proves more of what my point is about narrative. Okay, best independent game. This is more in line with what I was talking about.
Yeah,
Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. Only one of those was nominated for Game of the Year.
That is a good point.
How could it lose Best Independent Game, but then get Game of the Year?
Yeah. But
it cannot happen.
It could get both, or it could just get Independent Game.
But it's guaranteed Independent.
But now, when I'm looking at this list, only one of those was nominated for Game of the Year. So Best Independent Game is already. I already know what it's going to be.
Game of the Year is spoilers. Is what you're saying.
They might be saying that Balatro, the hit game. I love Balatro. The hit game Balatro. It's a wonderful game, but it may not be the best indie game. Because what if they say, well, listen, Animal Well was built with a box of scraps in a cave, but Balatro, it was funded by Errol Musk.
It wasn't.
Well, what if it was? And so they're saying, yeah, it is a great game, but it's not the best indie game. The best indie game is made by people who are the underdogs, right? That's what indie game, are kind of known for, is one guy, two guys, making something great with very little.
We should look and see if that's how it has gone historically.
Well, it's not necessarily. I'm saying that's the argument they could make for this, as in Balatro not winning.
It only makes sense if the argument has some historicity to it.
Yeah, and this is another example. Best action adventure game. The only one that's nominated for Game of the Year is Astrobot. The rest are Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. None of those are nominated for Game of the Year.
And then look there's also Balatro. That's a great game. Balatro, best action adventure game.
It's not.
And somehow, I cannot believe this. Best RPG, Balatro is the only nominee.
Now, our best RPG does have the head-to-head of Elden Ring and Final Fantasy VII.
Elden Ring, the Shadow
and
of the Erd.
Metaphor is also.
Wait. Do you mean Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Erd Tree, that new game that came out?
Yeah, no, sure. I mean the DLC that came out for the game that came out 3 years ago,
a few years ago. Is that right?
It's been at least 2.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like it's 2022.
Yeah, Rachel's gonna look it up.
It's a good thing we have a producer.
Now, my favorite category, best Nintendo game. Or wait, I'm sorry, best family game.
Balatro?
Nintendo's not winning it this year.
They can't because, again, they're giving it away. The nominees are Princess Peach Showtime.
That's not a real game.
Astrobot.
I heard of that.
Super Mario Party Jamboree.
That's not a real game.
Echoes of Wisdom and The Plucky Squire.
Not a real game.
If Astrobot is game of the year. How could it lose in best family game?
Is Astrobot multiplayer?
No.
Because, my friend, listen, I don't think
Neither is Princess Peach Showtime.
I don't think you're digging what they're putting down here.
I'm
okay?
not.
See,
I'm really
listen,
not.
listen. Astrobot, how could it be best to the game for families when it's rated M for mature, when it's incredibly violent and
Right.
vulgar?
It shouldn't.
It
That's
shouldn't.
the point.
It shouldn't. So yes, it's in the game of the year category, but you can't have a game which features extreme violence and prejudice and all these horrible things that are not family
I
friendly.
think you played the wrong
and
game.
put them in there.
Speak for your own family.
Exactly. My family would never. I would never let my children play Astrobot.
The issue with best family game, in my opinion, is that it's just a bunch of Nintendo games, and it's just an excuse to like sideline them. And if one non-Nintendo game makes it in, it doesn't matter the quality. They'll always give it to that because they're like, oh, Nintendo wins this category every year. They gave it to Overcooked 2, which is a fantastic game, but it was going up against like juggernauts of Nintendo's catalog. And I was like, oh, poor Overcooked. No, they just gave it to it because they're like, Overcooked's better. And I'm like, it's great. It's not better than all the... They stuffed like every... I can't remember what it was that year, but it was big names in Nintendo. Like Mario Odyssey was one best family game. Like these are the type of family games we're talking about. But if anybody... It's like they shoved Nintendo over there. But then like if anything else gets put in with Nintendo, you know it'll win.
It's also kind of a weird category because like it's not games you play with your family. It's games that anyone in your family can play.
Yeah.
And I have some bad news for them. There are like 7-year-olds out there who will shoot you in the head on Call of Duty.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Honestly, violent video games like Call of Duty have a younger player base than family games like Nintendo. Which
hit 30, hit 26, and you're like, all right.
I'm
Let me pick up Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, let me go back to old game.
Time to play some
I've aged
Animal
out.
Crossing.
So, best multiplayer game. This is the second to last one we'll look at. Best multiplayer game is Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
I haven't.
We're big fans of Call of Duty here.
Wasn't there one of those on the Nintendo Wii?
Yes,
Probably.
Wasn't there a Call of Duty game on
there
the
was.
Nintendo
A
Wii?
lot of people liked it.
I never played it.
Okay. Thank you for your insights.
Thanks for that.
Helldivers 2. You guys remember that game?
At one point, it would have
Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Nice.
What did I vote for? Tekken 8. I've heard it's really good.
It's great.
Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2.
You know, I
That's
haven't-
multiplayer, not family game.
I think this is this is the first game of the year where I have not played anything.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I've played nothing. The one thing I tell you, I did vote on 2 categories. I voted for most anticipated game.
Yep.
I voted for Death Stranding 2.
On the beach.
And then I voted for best adaptation. I voted for Fallout.
What do you guys think is going to win? He brought it up. Most anticipated game.
It's not even that. That's not even a category. Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah,
is
Grand
there.
Theft Auto
Come
6
on.
is probably
But
it's not mine.
But Metroid Prime 4, there's so many Metroid Prime 4 fans.
It's true.
That's my most anticipated game.
There's
but
at least
I expect it
3
to
of
be
them
like
here.
8th.
Yeah.
There's
I
a-
expect it to be not
Listen,
even in.
There's not even
there's
8
at least
not enough of
nominees.
us.
There are at least 3 people in this room
Mhm.
who love Metroid Prime,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
of those 3 people, 2 of them voted for Metroid Prime as most anticipated
Yeah.
game. So think about that.
Can you actually vote?
Yeah,
You can. So
Every year.
for
Yeah.
the way they consider it is that there's a tally of I believe it's 6 votes, and then like industry reviewers and stuff get 5 of those, and then 1 is determined by the fans.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not much.
So
Yeah.
it
But it's more
influences
democratic than the United States.
Oh,
Xi
dear.
Jinping, please let me in. Let me in.
it. Okay, so
What's the other section that you're going to read off? What's the other
of the Game
category?
Awards?
Yeah.
All
the
these boring ones like esports and creator of the who is Case O?
the last one
I
I
do
want
want
to
to know
say.
content creator of the year.
Okay, content creator of the year is Queso, Ilo Juan, Techno Gamers with a Z, Typical Gamer, and Usada Pecora.
None of those are real. You made all those.
How is
up.
that not us?
I was
That's
gonna
not
say
real.
I am.
Why weren't we
Why-
considered?
Why weren't we
Keighley?
considered?
I think Queso will probably win that.
Probably.
Queso,
But,
because
hey,
cheese.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right.
Who knows?
Wait and find
I have.
out.
I'm very sorry.
I won't try.
I've never heard any of these guys before.
You wouldn't.
Or gals.
I don't think it's real.
Best
like,
adaptation. This is the last one we can talk about. Arcane. Rachel and I have been watching that.
Yeah,
Super good. League
incredible.
of Legends. Riot Forge. Fallout. Didn't see it. Don't want to see it.
Here it's great.
Not gonna see it.
Nope.
Am I having a stroke? Does that just say Knuckles?
It's Knuckles.
Knuckles.
Yeah.
The
Knuckles is a character from Sonic.
That's-
It's not an
that's-
adaptation.
Television
Knuckles,
show.
Knuckles, the show.
Knuckles.
Oh, it's a show. That was really jarring.
Well,
For-
you
I was like, did IGN bug out and they just asked Knuckles best adaptation?
Knuckles.
Um,
Guy passed that on his desk.
and then
Like a Dragon, Yakuza,
I didn't even know.
Okay,
Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft.
okay,
That's
so
definitely gonna get
If
it.
Arcane doesn't win, it'll be very
I was gonna
bizarre.
say, I'm
I think
about-
Fallout has a real good chance.
I
though.
hope
Fallout. was
I hated
huge.
Arcane's first season. I haven't watched its second season, but I loved Fallout.
Oh.
Fallout.
You hated Arcane's first
Really?
The
season.
first season of Arcane
Oh.
gave me rheumatoid arthritis. I mean, I hated it so much that when I heard that they were making a second season,
Mhm.
I cried myself to sleep.
Yeah.
It was I destroyed my room. I destroyed my roommate's room.
Like you do.
I went
Unrelated
over,
to
I went to
Arcane.
destroy his room, but it was already destroyed. I don't know why. It was already destroyed. And then I watched Fallout, and my spirits were lifted. I thought Fallout was an absolutely lovely watch. I can't wait for the second season.
Arcane was so good.
It
I
was
don't
so
like
good.
cartoons. I don't.
You're
I don't,
wearing a Mickey Mouse
don't look-
and
Yeah.
Friends shirt. You liar.
You liar.
You're a
No,
fraud.
I don't actively seek out cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I don't like or follow anything League of Legends related. But after watching the first season and some change of the
Yeah.
second, I'm like 10% away of just giving up and playing League of Legends.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta see what
It's
this
so
game's
good.
about.
You will
It's so
immediately
good.
grow
Yeah.
a neck beard.
I will.
And,
Yeah.
move back in with your
Instantaneously.
mom, and it'll be really
A lot
tragic.
of the girls at the place I work play League of Legends.
Yeah.
Really?
That's so sad.
You know,
I
it's
really
never, it's
loved
never
Arcane.
come to consoles, bizarrely. I guess it's just...
It would be
too-
hard to adapt.
Really?
Honestly, the
Are there,
MOBA style
are there not
is
MOBAs
tough.
on?
I mean, there are,
There
but
are.
a lot of them are like made with better controller support in mind.
Okay.
League would be really hard.
League, you still
Take
just
your word
control
for
one
it.
hero, right?
Yeah.
It's not like RTS.
I mean, like you control one hero, but it plays like an RTS.
You're just a bunch of
Like,
players.
yeah.
I'll
all
tell
together,
you,
yeah.
it's a good year for Ella Purnell. Okay.
Yeah, she
I,
is. She's
I
in both
couldn't pick her
Arcane
out of the
and
crowd,
Fallout.
but
Well, there you go.
Yellow
Uh,
Jackets.
Huh?
oh, yeah, she's also in
she's in
Yellow
that. But yeah,
Jackets.
she's in 2 of these nominees. I mean, that's
Yeah,
a good year for her.
so next podcast we'll be talking about who won and how we feel about who won,
And how mad we are. About
how mad we are about it.
Should we make predictions for like Game of the Year, the big ones?
You know
Yeah,
what? We're gonna do
but-
Game of the Year and nothing else.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do
fair.
we'll do Game of the Year and we'll do Family Game of the Year.
Fair.
What do you guys think is Ethan? What do you think is Game of the Year this year? I'll
Um,
read them back off if you need them.
I'm fairly certain Black Myth Wukong is the game of the year.
Okay.
Because of just China.
It will get the fan vote, but I don't know that it'll get the other 5. Its
I-
Metacritic is the lowest of the others.
Yeah, it's not.
It's never made sense the Game Awards.
Yeah,
and
that's
here's the
true.
thing: Geoff Keighley
Uh-huh.
has lizard skin,
Oh.
and
Geoff
the second
Keighley-
you think you've gotten a hold of him, you figured him out, he sheds his skin
Yeah.
and reveals that he's played you all along.
Yeah.
So everyone is furious that they've added DLC to the category, and when I saw that, I was like, they are not giving it to Elden Ring.
No.
They are doing this because that got a bunch of attention to the Game Awards,
It's fair.
and because down the line he wants to give it to something else. He knows, because he's an
Oh,
industry
3D
insider,
chess.
he knows that there's a DLC coming down the line, and he wants to give it to him, but he knows he can't do it in the same year. So he's like, there's this big DLC, I'm going to create a big hullabaloo about it, and then I'm going to not give it to it so that next time or the time after I can give it to someone else.
Well,
The only way they were giving Elden Ring DLC Game of the Year is if they invited the Bill Clinton kid back onto stage. Not
well,
gonna-
I'll
the only
agree
way.
with you that
Fair.
Jeff Keighley is a great man. He's a Greek god walking among us, and I'd take him out to coffee any day of the week.
Let me just
Yeah,
shut
come on
this
the pod.
mic off
So,
real quick.
and come onto the pod, and please subscribe to our Patreon. I'm going to say that even though it will be Elden Ring, the Shadow of the Erd Tree.
That's what you think will
That's-
win?
Well, I would think that would win
Oh.
if Balatro was not on there, because I think Balatro is going to sweep every category that Balatro is in. It will win.
What?
Balatro
what does
is
Balatro look like?
It's an incredible game. It's incredible,
Describe
sweeping
it.
and vast, with such innovation and graphics. It has a character in it. You wouldn't even believe it. Voiced by Ella Purnell, whom I'm in love
It
with.
doesn't.
It's incredible.
Is it pixel art, Quentin, or is it 3D models? Just let's see if you know anything about it.
Well, it's complicated because it could
That's
be
a no.
It could be both.
I haven't played it. I have a concept of playing it, but I haven't played it.
Well, I
That's
haven't
Quentin's
played
argument.
it. Here's the
Yeah.
thing: I haven't played
Isn't that always?
any games that were here.
Stop it. Any game.
I haven't played any
Haven't
games.
played any
I haven't.
games.
I haven't played any games of the year, but I will say that I have played Balatro, and it's great.
He
And it's-
hasn't.
And it's
He's-
going to win.
You're just lying to our fans. He's never played Balatro.
Balatro is incredible. Vote for
I
Balatro.
honestly, I think it's going to be another Overwatch thing where everyone's like,
Overwatch is going to win Game of the Year.
it did the year it came out, and everyone's like, oh, a multiplayer game's never been nominated for Game of the Year.
Oh, I
It's
see what
weird.
you're
It's dumb. They're not going to give it to it. But I think Astrobot will take it just because.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, up until Mario and Luigi Brothership came out, Astrobot was my Game of the Year.
Mhm.
I think Mario and Luigi either came out too late to be considered for the Game Awards.
It did.
In November.
It did.
Because I was shocked that it wasn't in Best Family Game.
It's too late. It'll be in next year.
It's too late. But Astrobot's fantastic. As a hardcore platformer guy, I think that like 3D platformers are at their best when like the developers are really confident in your ability to like jump and stuff. They don't need you to have like the invisible platform jump where you jump and then you can jump again and correct yourself. They're really big on movement tech. So usually puzzle platformers I still love them because I love all platformers, but they're like in a different tier. They're just, I'm like, it's like the difference between like a hamburger that you really love and then like a really well prepared meal.
Hamburger.
A really well prepared hamburger. No, but it's like it's in some ways it's apple and oranges, but
Yeah.
I've always thought of like puzzle platformers as being maybe, I don't want to say the lesser of them, but the lesser of them.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're not just given that raw platforming goodness.
Ooh, I love raw platforming goodness.
I was like, do I want to say this? I just committed to it.
That is
No, but that's the thing is like I loved Astrobot though. Like it fully embraces the idea of being a puzzle platformer and like uses the controller in an innovative
I'm not the
ways.
only one who can't.
Yeah,
Ties
it's
rubbing
a-
off on
it's
me.
the Mushmouth podcast.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Well, I
A
hope
guy, some podcaster, don't know him, don't want to know him, but apparently he was talking about how Mario Odyssey is like trash, and that Astrobot is the best 3D platform ever made. I was like, quit doing that, man.
I mean,
Don't
I
do
don't
that.
want to know that podcaster, but I also don't want to know these podcasters.
Fair.
Also,
Too
bad.
we
I'm
really
gonna-
need to get some merch that says raw
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
Ra-
Yeah.
That we
I'm
need that
gonna
on a
say-
t-shirt.
I'm gonna say, you guys, nothing you said matters.
Because we didn't take it
All
far
right,
enough.
You didn't take it far enough.
Okay.
No, I think
I
I
like
think
that didn't
predicting the
fit.
Game Awards has nothing to do with the quality of the game
No,
involved.
it doesn't.
I'm gonna make my prediction based on science. I do think Ethan is right. I do think it is a bait and switch with Shadow of the Erdtree. If not, it would actually probably be my pick for which one was going to win. But I do think that they either before they announced it or seeing the reaction to people announcing it, they probably won't give it to it this year. And if you look at the OpenCritic review scores for the remaining games, Final Fantasy and Metaphor are tied, but Metaphor has far fewer reviews.
Yeah.
So I would think Final Fantasy would be placed above that. And then the highest Metacritic or OpenCritic score of the year, not counting Shadow of the Erdtree, is Astrobot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say probably Astrobot.
Really?
I agree. I think that they're wanting to make an effort that it's not just another third person action game like that has the exact same realistic style. They'll probably go for that. I agree.
Historically, they have never gone
Next
for
pod,
that.
we'll see if we were
we'll
right.
see if we were right.
And
We'll-
let us know
we'll
in the
count it up.
comments which game you think is going to win
Comment
Game of the
which
Year.
game do you think is going to
Down
win Game of
below.
the Year, and include beneath your comment why it doesn't matter.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
I just got some insider news. Look at this, viewer. I just got this. It says Balatro will be winning in all categories.
Wow.
This is actually this was.
Can you
It's-
zoom out?
Sorry, wait a minute. No, I can't. But you're not going to believe this. This was a text from Geoff Keighley.
He's right. We don't believe it.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Guys, this is historic. If you're watching this, this is historic. For the first time in the history of the Power Up Brothers podcast, we're not going to topic of the week.
We're not.
No, we're not. We're not.
Direct your attention to above Ethan and Ty's heads.
Can they see that?
Yeah, they can see. Well, they can. They can't. That right up there.
Ty squint real
It's the
hard,
worst
son.
face.
That right up there
Worst face you could possibly.
is the first.
We're losing subscribers. Stop.
No, come back.
Yeah,
The
this is
first
special.
game sat right there
It's
is
the
the first
first
game.
game.
The first game. The first
one.
game in our new series. This new segment called Deep Dive. Welcome to the first ever Deep Dive. This is a little segment where we pick a game that we are all passionate about. In the future, it'll probably be that the three of us are passionate about. And we do a deep dive on it.
Yeah.
This time we're doing that little pretty right there. Star Fox Assault.
Does that say Star Fox Assault?
It's Fox Assaults.
Oh my god!
Sometimes you need an
wait,
assault.
wait! I thought you guys were. You told me that it was Star Fox Command. Star Fox Assault. I've never played that game.
Oh,
I
brother.
know. Ethan,
What?
did I not predict it? That he was going to talk about Star Fox
You did.
Command instead?
I don't understand.
I said that very thing would
I've
happen.
never. You guys told me it was Star Fox Command,
We
the hit,
didn't tell
the
you
hit
that.
game on the Nintendo
And you've
DS.
definitely played Star Fox
I
Assault.
have never played this game.
You have played it.
Wait, which one?
Assault.
On the
Oh
game
yeah, I
too.
played that a lot. I played it over and over again
Yeah,
as a kid. I
Played it
loved
with
it.
us.
Yeah, it was really good.
So,
In the discussion, it was really good.
It was
See,
really
guys?
good. It was
was game.
oh right. So Quentin has not played it.
Of
Apparently,
course.
Ty and Ethan have played it. Devin
Devin
played
has,
it.
yeah,
Well
Devin has
done.
played it. That was good.
Well done.
That was
Good job.
Good
Good job. You did
Devin.
it. You did it.
Okay.
Cookies for
Excellent
you.
work, excellent work, Ty, and
Yeah.
you did a good job reading.
Cross
Devin,
chatter.
Sorry,
Thanks,
So-
Michael B.
Thanks, Michael B. You're looking lovely today.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is, in my opinion, it's the oddball of the Star Fox series because
It is not. You
No.
are incorrect. Yeah, no,
dear.
you're
Oh,
wrong.
well.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Your point
no.
is completely
What I mean
undercut.
is that like in term of like the design choices of like the way the characters look and like
Oh yeah.
the like I think that Star Fox Adventures was the odd child out because Rare was doing all the models. They gave everything kind of a rundown look, like this Fox like piece came and they don't need Star Fox anymore.
I love that.
I loved that.
concept, Yeah.
But so like how jarring was it for like Quentin was around for the game, but you were pretty young.
yeah.
So like with us, how jarring was it for us to go from Adventures to Assault? Because I felt like it was very jarring. Everything
it
in
was-
Assault
it-
is so sleek and like angular,
Yeah.
and the character designs are very like
I think it only came out a year.
I was gonna say, it wasn't long after, was it?
I don't know
because they were developed by
producer-
different companies.
We sure
Yeah.
should have Googled this beforehand.
Well,
No,
producer
but
Rachel is going to look and
I like
see what the
ignorance.
release date of Sonic or
okay.
of Sonic Adventure.
Star Fox Adventure and Star Fox Assault.
Yeah,
So we got 2005
for
for Star Fox Assault.
and,
And
what
Star
about Star
Fox
Fox
Adventure.
Adventures? I think it's
Hang on.
2001.
I'm gonna say 2002.
Okay, it was right before the
I just remember there
acquisition.
being a big
I
gap.
say
but
2003.
I could be
We're gonna
wrong.
find out real quick.
Let's see,
once
1, 2,
producer
3.
Rachel gets it going.
2002.
2002. Okay.
Ooh, Ty got it.
So a
Good
few
job.
years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So okay. So we had a couple years between them.
Yeah.
It was still very like I felt like for me personally it was a constant sea of whiplash because Adventures was already it was a sequel to Star Fox 64 which came out in
Yeah.
97, so it was like something like 5 years later,
Mhm.
which is a while to wait for a game like Star Fox. And then it's not a Star Fox game. I actually like Adventures. I think it's a fun game. It's not a Star Fox game.
Not
though.
traditional Star Fox.
Yeah, like
though.
it's
In
just
what
like
ways?
it's a Zelda like like you're running around
Yeah.
doing an adventure.
You
It
don't
was-
fly in a ship for the vast majority of the game. There's
It
only
won't.
there's only brief sections in Adventure where you're in
Yeah.
the R wing. for the most part, you're on a planet of dinosaurs and you fight with a magic stick.
Yeah, it was made as a
Very
different
weird.
game
It's really
called
different.
Dinosaur Planet. And then when they moved it from the N64 over to the GameCube, they also made the decision to like add Star Fox characters to it. They didn't even change the voice actors that they already had picked out. And so it was very unusual. And then we go to Star Fox Assault, which used different voice actors, but not the ones from Star Fox 64 for baffling reasons.
But more traditional.
And, it
More
was
traditional,
the game itself was more traditional. Fox was not. Fox acts
No.
nothing like he does in Star Fox 64 in Assault.
Fox and Peppy are
Sure.
both Fox and Peppy are
Unrecognizable.
like very different from there.
Yeah.
Peppy is like Peppy was always the old timer, the whippersnapper, trying to get these whippersnappers to act up.
Yeah.
But he was never like sad all the time.
I actually have a big, like a kind of a big issue with Star Fox Assault's depiction of Peppy. I don't hate it, but it kind of breaks this cartoon rule of the ageless cast of cartoon characters.
Yeah.
Is that like, I don't want to see like my cartoon characters like the older guy, the Peppy, right? I don't want to see him like have to get a hip replacement as he slowly degrades, right?
Yeah.
Like General Pepper is melting in that game.
I hate
General Pepper's design is a little weird, but I will say I think that's actually a complaint about Adventure, because in Adventure Peppy is obviously he's super tired and he looks horrifying.
He's better in
He looks
Assault.
disgusting in Assault. He's like actually
he got better. Yeah,
he's around. I don't know what they gave him a big shot of B vitamins right in the butt, and he's like suddenly he's awake again.
He's not in Adventure
but
that much.
No,
Pepper.
No.
Peppy.
Peppy.
No,
I mean,
no.
General
Pepper's
Pepper is
not.
actually better in Adventure than he is in Assault.
It might
because
be my
he's basically
favorite.
just identical
Little
to 64.
General Pepper here. I love
it's
that
so-
and
it's so good.
Adventures.
I'm gonna just say that Adventure is so horrible
Yeah, Quinn's
that
not
at
a fan.
times
We're not talking about
that
deep
it,
dive.
No, but
Oh,
at
oh.
times when I think back my experience, because obviously I was very young, when I played Adventure, I ran around, didn't know what was going on because I was a little baby. All right,
Yeah.
So then I played Star Fox Assault, and I played to completion that game multiple times.
Yeah.
And eventually I went back to Star Fox Adventure because I thought I was just a baby at the time. And so as a kid, I was like, well, I love Adventure, or I love Assault. Let me go back and play Adventure. And then I played Adventure, and I was like, as a baby, I was able to recognize what a dumpster fire of a game it is. I'm talking in just about every way does that game fail to accomplish what it sets out to do.
You're talking about Adventures.
Adventure. And now that we have the beta build
Of Dinosaur Planet.
of Dinosaur Planet,
Yeah.
it
Near
hammers
finished.
home how much of a dumpster fire Adventure is, because the beta build on the N64 is a better game. It's insane. It's madness.
So shifting gears to Assault.
So when we talk about Assault, right?
Yeah.
We now have this weird trilogy of games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where we've got obviously
64,
which doesn't really care about any continuity for the
it is a
original game.
It's a remake.
It's a remake, right? So there's no continuity with the original. But then Adventure has continuity with 64,
Yep.
and Assault has continuity with Adventure.
Which that's the part that's weird. Is that
How
like
You go
weird
back
is
to
that?
Dinosaur Planet.
you go back
in
to
the
Dinosaur
story.
Planet?
Yes.
They
And
actually
in a multiplayer match.
And obviously Crystal is there.
I'll look this up.
She's in the game.
And
I forgot about her.
Crystal is also in the game, a major character from the game we're talking
She
about.
is, yeah. And they decided to change Dinosaur Planet's name to Sauria.
Was it not?
No, that's
they
not
just
in-
Call it, they just call
not
it
in-
Dinosaur
it's just
Planet
Dinosaur
in
Planet.
Adventure
Which
because
is
because that
rareware,
game
yeah.
is so stupid. It's so stupid.
I love
It's
Star
al-
Fox
I
Adventure.
thought
It's
the
almost
Cornerians call it
unbelievable.
Saurian in it's Adventures. It's the dinosaurs who call it Dinosaur Planet.
I have
No.
no. I'm pretty
I think
sure
they
that it is.
call them
liter-
Saurians in
But they don't-
Adventure, but I
I
don't
don't-
think
you
they.
know,
I'm
I
gonna
don't
look
even
it
know
up.
if they
I don't,
do that.
I don't know, but I think,
don't know.
and
this
this
podcast isn't about Dinosaur Planet.
This
No.
We
podcast
talked
isn't
for-
about good points.
This
Yeah.
all right?
podcast
No.
isn't about Star Fox Adventure. My only point was that we now have this weird trilogy.
It is weird.
Yeah.
where it's like we've got, but Star Fox Assault is also a weird sequel to 64
Yeah,
because the shift in tone
yeah.
is so drastically
Yeah.
different.
the Aperoids.
It's definitely much more like 64 than obviously Adventure is.
Sure.
I think the weirdest part about Star Fox Assault, I recently replayed it maybe 2 months ago, is the shift in tone in story is really weird.
Yeah.
And the voice acting ranges from okay with like Falco and Peppy to abysmal with Fox.
Fox's is bad.
And
It's pretty weird.
but setting the like story aside, because obviously story is not the main component of
No.
either Star Fox game. It's completely linear.
Yeah.
Where you just do one mission, then the next, then the next, then the next. And
It doesn't have a
there's-
branching.
There's not variation in routes you
Mhm.
take
No.
really in missions. Star Fox 64 had all of that. Star Fox 64, you were choosing different routes outside of missions, and then in missions, you were choosing, to go left or right in many different missions. It kind of branched, and Assault is surprisingly light on that. It does also have like more all range mode missions and that kind of thing, but those are more, kind of a flavor.
Yeah.
That's what struck me as being so different. And then of course the kind of like elephant in the room about Assault in terms of its gameplay is that you now get out of the R-wing and run around and shoot things. A mechanic that I don't completely hate. I think it's fun when it works, but doesn't always work. And it mostly doesn't work because of the one thing that absolutely is the biggest thing that affects every video game ever made. Do you know what that is?
What's that?
Budget cuts.
Level design.
Oh,
Your level
yeah.
design is the most important thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a platformer or a shooter
Yeah,
or
true.
RTS. And level design, Star Fox Assault is pretty well designed levels.
Yeah,
I think so.
Even the all range mode levels for a plane.
Oh,
When you
Sure.
get out and you're a little man running around,
Well-
it is a pain to navigate some of
Well,
these
and also the
areas.
control scheme is not the best.
You have to switch it to like version 3 where the camera is the C
It's
stick.
the C-stick,
and,
yeah. It's not the best.
The
I think
control
a-
scheme is not the best. Go ahead.
I think a lock-on would have helped for the running around
Yeah.
parts. They wanted it to be an over-the-shoulder shooter,
It
It has-
it
it
has
has-
a, it has a lock.
it has
on.
a
like
lock-on.
like a real proper lock-on. The over-the-shoulder shooter
Yeah.
where you're aiming with the C stick is pretty bad.
Yeah, the C stick
Yeah.
is just an 8 directional. It's
Mhm.
not a full 360 on the GameCube.
Right.
So
yeah.
like aiming is a little awkward. The concept, in my opinion, is fantastic.
concept is
Yeah.
very
Because
cool.
you literally
It- 'cause it
land your
goes-
R-wing, jump out, and then there's there's a landmaster over there. You just hop on the landmaster.
It goes
It's
back
very
to
cool.
64's multiplayer because in 64, as you start off with just R-wings in the multiplayer, and then as I think you clear the game on regular mode, you unlock the landmaster,
remember, yeah.
and then you clear it on expert, and you unlock a little guy with a rocket launcher or something. And this was like, well, we're gonna take that and make it seamless. You're gonna just like start in a plane, land, get out, get a rocket launcher. Oh, there's a tank. Gonna go over and get in the tank. That's a good idea. I like it.
Yeah.
They just needed to work more on the shooter element of the game.
And honestly, the implementation is not that bad when you go from the whole, if it was literally just you're in your R-Wing and then you're in the landmaster and you're running around doing things. The issue is that you get out of the R-Wing and then you're running around as Fox, and that is kind of the worst part of it. But when you're if you get into the landmaster, it plays great. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot more fun. And I will say that for the multiplayer, which is the part that I really want to dive into, because I actually think it's the best aspect of this game.
the multiplayer.
Is that running around on foot feels a lot better in multiplayer
Mhm.
stages, even though many of them are just single player stages. They picked the single player stages where like the foot running around on foot feels a little bit better, and because they're not crowded with enemies the way they are on single player, and you're just looking for like that one guy, running around on foot does feel a lot better.
Navigating Dinosaur Planet in Assault. Dinosaur Planet
Nightmare.
Yeah, it's like the weird tunnels and everything, and it has lots of open plains for you to kind of be in. But all of a sudden, like Ty's saying, you go on multiplayer and it's just 3 opponents.
Yeah,
the Aperoid things aren't just swarming you. You're more comfortable. It's more well laid out. The thing that I love that we did so often was that you could stand on the wing.
Yeah.
And so if someone was flying around, you could just like hop, you could just jump onto their wing and like when they took off, you took off with
Which
them.
I
and you
don't
could
think
rain
that
fire.
intentional,
it happens in the story, but I don't think the way what we were doing was in
Uh,
any way intended.
don't
Because
No, if you flew too, like if you bank too hard in the R
People
wing,
will fall off.
they'll
Yeah,
fall.
you don't like lock onto the wing.
I wish you did.
But that did
That
make it
would
a
be
lot of
fun.
fun because we could pair up and me and Devin be on a team, Ethan
Yeah.
and Ty be on a team, and then
It'd be
one
fun.
person's on the wing, and also I love there's a lovely variation of weapons in the game, and so
yeah,
it's
there
just
are.
fun to have Slippy Toad holding a machine gun.
Yeah.
It is.
it is.
You know,
My favorite is
it's
Slippy
really
Toad
lovely.
with a bazooka sitting on a wolf and like
Yeah.
firing.
Now that is quite
Before
a
we get into the
combination.
multiplayer, I do want to talk about one thing because I feel like the multiplayer is a lot of positives.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like a lot, some views on stuff, some like opinions on things, but it's a lot of positives. But before we go super positive, I do have to go kind of negative here.
Of course.
And
Oh,
that
no.
is that while story isn't that important to Star Fox games, the thing it needs to do is not grate or drag you down.
Mm.
And my issue with Star Fox Assault for years was it is a weirdly anxiety filled story.
It is, yeah.
You like go to rescue General Pepper because Corneria comes under attack. In the original Star Fox 64, you go to Corneria. It's first mission. It's under attack.
Yeah.
You get there and there are these, the little chimp guys flying the machines and the Andros sent me to take you down, right?
Yeah.
Like
The Simian
right.
Squad.
It's a Simian Squad,
Mhm.
right? A big funny robot from the first one. If you go on the secret route, you fight the original Star Fox boss.
yeah.
You get to Corneria in Star Fox Assault, and it's like, oh god, they're eating everyone, and it's
I
like
know.
it's so
Well,
dark. And then you're
yeah.
like, we have to find General Pepper, we have to save him, and then he shows up as some kind of demon thing,
Yeah.
trying to like absorb everyone,
Begging you to
in-
kill him while
begging
you're fighting
you
the
to kill
boss.
him while you're
Yeah.
fighting. And I played that part, and I was
Weirdly
like, this is too
It's
much.
too much.
It's the reason that Star Trek: The Next Generation didn't have the Borg in every episode.
Yeah.
Because it would be too much.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like you get to the point in Star Fox Assault where like it becomes clear what the Aperoids do, and the story gets like very like anxiety filled.
Yeah, and dark
And
like,
dark.
they want you to fear that the characters might die.
Well, but several characters do die in that game.
yeah, none of
Oinkity in the first level
Yeah.
gets shot in the head
Andrew
and dies,
Oinkity-
and you don't see him again. And then obviously you kill Pigma, and
Yep.
it's only obviously they retconned both of those things in the hit game Star Fox Command that we're not going to talk about at any length. But the point is, inside of Star Fox Assault, both those characters are dead.
and like Pigma gets like infected by
Turns into a giant
the
face.
Aperoid
He gets-
infection is so creepy and unsettling.
it is
so unnecessary
No, but
for a
this is what
Star
I'm going to
Fox
say.
story.
like
I'm
the
going to say
thing.
that Star Fox Assault has the best story of any Star Fox game.
You're
because
crazy for that.
It takes
You are
itself
crazy
It
for that.
takes itself seriously. Here's the thing with Star Fox that I've said since I was even a kid was, how do I phrase this? Why are they animals? Because I always thought
It was
see,
like a Thundercats thing or whatever it was.
I don't know what the reason is, but what I'm
It's
saying
that-
is that
no,
show
it's
Why is Robin Hood an animal in that old Disney
in that
movie?
old Disney movie.
Oh.
Well, but here's the difference is that Robin Hood, the original myth, is not about an animal guy who's saving Nottingham.
Why is Puss in Boots
It's a-
not just like
Puss in Boots
guy in
is
boots?
Antonio
you know,
Banderas and boots.
But my whole thing is that if you took the story of Star Fox 64,
Yeah,
it's relatively serious,
it's very serious.
but it's
yeah.
so stupid because it's anthropomorphic animals
Mhm.
who look like little puppet guys, right?
Yeah.
I think the comments are going to just like eviscerate.
No,
you
please
at this
do.
point.
But here's
Please
the problem. You know, in 64, it looks cute and all
Get
these
them,
things.
guys.
When you put these anthropomorphic animals into the graphics of the GameCube and you give them the voice of Fox McCloud in Star Fox Assault,
Which they
That-
did not do.
that is pants wettingly scary, okay? It obviously should be, but if you made all those characters humans,
Yeah.
the tone would not seem uncomfortable.
Mm.
What I'm saying
Oh.
is that for me, the fact that they are anthropomorphic animals is always something to get past. Okay? It's something for
Huh.
me to move on from and say, like, I'm ignoring the fact that Slippy Toad, whose name is Slippy Toad, is a Slippy Toad. Okay? So Star Fox Assault's serious story, ignore
Yeah.
that it's Slippy Toad, right? And think of these as humans. It's phenomenal.
Why was
it is a
why
really
was
good
Peppy,
story.
whose name is Peppy, such a downer in Assault?
Peppy hair is pretty sad.
I have to both agree and disagree in a jujitsu style redirection of your
Okay.
comment.
Oh boy.
Star Fox Assault does have the best story of a Star Fox game. I actually don't think there's really any. I don't think there's really any argument that it doesn't. It actually has a good story.
Argument.
Well, no. Here's the thing. It has a good story that's laid out really well.
Mhm.
It sets its scenes well. It's narratively
Has
very
tension.
satisfying.
Yep.
It has tension. And I don't want any of that in a Star Fox game. Not one bit of it.
Yeah.
And you say like if they were humans, it would take away all the tension. I could not disagree more. I
Take
don't
away
want
the awkwardness.
I like that Han Solo and the Wookiee who's with him,
the Woody.
the Woody, the Woody
Chewbacca.
Right.
that they run around shooting at stormtroopers, right?
Mhm.
And that he's got quippy lines. And at no point do I want a nano demon to try to absorb him into the hive mind.
No.
Because
Yeah,
that's
right.
I don't want like a scene of like Lando as a giant head because he's been eaten by these monsters and he's coming after.
Right.
That's like Sonic
I don't
EXE
want to.
kind
I
of
don't want to, for
territory.
instance, like watch him get by his son and fall off a cliff. That would be
No,
horrible.
but here's the
That'd be
thing,
a
though, is
bummer.
that but at the same time, we do have to look at like 64, and we have to say, okay, Fox McCloud, his whole thing here,
Yeah.
in this team, is that his dad got betrayed by a former member of this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was killed by an evil guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty serious thing to happen,
Corneria.
right? So he
Fourth
got
planet, yeah.
you know, if we just described that, you'd think, well, that's a pretty serious thing to happen in the
Yeah.
story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I say that he's an anthropomorphic fox, and so is
That
his
holds
son,
you back?
no, what I'm saying is
Oh.
that I'm saying that doesn't make Star Fox 64 worse. The
No.
seriousness of all of that isn't made worse
Yeah.
because
I want to chime in on the story because I don't think that it's the seriousness of it. I think it's the grotesqueness
It's
of
like the
it.
grimness.
It's like it's very grotesque. Like the game prior, it was a little like, you know, General Pepper, yeah,
Okay,
hey
yeah,
Fox,
right.
and then the next one he's like, Fox, kill me. It's like
You're not
This
wrong.
is-
That's actually
this
a pretty
is-
good impression.
this
is a
is
pretty good impression.
gruesome.
yeah.
And
What
so-
is this game rated?
It's rated.
It's rated teen.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's rated
It's not
teen.
gruesome in the sense that like you see like guts or gore
No.
or anything.
It's
It's
not
gruesome in the
gory.
sense that it's just it's grim.
Well,
the
and
whole
also-
It's
town-
some body horror, too.
And I
No,
will
there
say,
is some body
so,
horror.
so
Yeah,
the-
that's
fair.
these creatures, they're like the Borg, the Aperoid, they infect you and they turn you into a biological sort of machine, right?
Mhm.
And when you are infected, it sort of grows on you, and so there's like people who have like Aperoid flesh
Yeah.
growing on them.
Mhm.
And it's kind of gross looking, but it's obviously not like realistic gore.
Gotcha.
You know,
But,
there's
but
no human
no,
intestines
not
or
realistic
anything like
gore,
that.
but it's just gruesome to see General Pepper,
Like
the
fused
cartoon
to
dog,
his seat.
fused to
Yeah.
his
He
seat,
is fused to
begging
his-
for you to kill him. I'm like, this is
It's
gruesome.
grim. Yeah, it's gruesome.
This is
It's
gruesome.
grim.
Nightmare.
Would that be as bad if this was a direct sequel from 64 rather than having
No,
the
it would be- it would be
No,
worse.
no, it wouldn't be worse because you had a clown fest sandwiched in between these because there's a seriousness to the story of 64.
Yeah,
There is no seriousness to the story of Adventure from the very first.
it's pretty goofy.
When you hear Krazoa Palace,
Excuse me. Ko Krazoa.
Hail Karzoa Palace.
when you hear those
Such a
words,
good-
you
incredible.
you
It's
have to
incredible.
know that what you are getting
Mhm.
is so stupid and clownish. Okay, so if you put those two
Right.
games together, the tone is drastically different, right?
Sure.
Because that game's a clown fest. If you took that out and it was just 64 to Assault, I don't think that the content is nearly as drastic a contrast.
Here's the problem.
Mhm.
This game was made by Bandai Namco, right?
just Namco
And,
at the time.
Just Namco at the time. The makers, the owners of, or the publishers, I'm sorry, of the Dark Souls series. And Star
Okay.
Fox Assault has the exact tone of the Dark Souls series.
agree.
Well, I haven't played Dark Souls,
Yeah.
so I can't say.
The story's
but-
also like anime as crap. Like it's just like super anime-y, where it's like
I don't see that at all.
where, like,
There's a lot of exposition.
where like
I think
there's
that's
a lot
what
of
you're
exposition.
tying
There,
into.
like Peppy sacrifices. Spoilers. He sacrifices
20-year-old
himself.
we are going to spoil this. Probably
It's-
closer to
it's-
30-year-old.
yeah,
No,
2000
It's
it's
20.
20.
It's 20. It's
Yeah.
literally 20 years old.
And then it's like, oh, but actually he's not dead.
No,
and
no.
like,
Yeah.
and then
No,
like
no.
the big bat, like Wolf is like, I don't like you, kid, but we're gonna work together and beat the tar out of these aperoids. It just feels like
I liked.
I don't think those are.
I don't think that's
really
bad.
no, I don't. I don't think those are really anime specific
Tropes.
things.
maybe not.
But my thing is, I think both of those moments are great
They are good.
because
They are good.
Because again, if you just played 64 and then you played Assault, right?
Yeah.
Wolf is this. He's an awful guy. Nobody likes him. He smells bad. He's violent. You shoot him down and you think that you've killed him, but because it is a game for children, he has to come back with a little eye patch and he's actually okay. He's not a good guy. So the fact that he shows up and it's not for monetary gain, it is literally that the situation is so desperate
that he
is
to do
willing
something,
to help you is a powerful moment if you're a fan of the franchise, because you're like, oh man, the guy who's just evil.
It's a good scene
as far
where
as
Fox like jumps off the roof and the wolf and saves him.
It's great.
Yeah.
Then with Peppy, him sacrificing himself. Obviously, they're not going to kill Peppy Hare because while this game is darker, they limited themselves to killing villains, right? Because they could get away with
even
that.
General Pepper lives.
General Pepper lives.
He never shows up in the game again.
They do say that he is
but
alive.
they say he is alive.
They say he's alive.
Of course,
he's
I
like
think he
recovering.
was dead in the original draft, and they were just like, it's too dark, throw a line
To
in.
be fair,
Probably.
in Star Fox Command, he's like in hospice. He's not doing well. He is literally Star Fox Command.
The
A game,
series.
to be clear,
The series.
I
Star
gotta
Fox
play this
Command,
game.
a game that
Cool.
we are not going to talk about right now. Star Fox Command.
Can't
He
unpack
is so sickly and dying
Yeah.
that Peppy has to leave Star Fox and go be
General
the
Peppy.
general of
yeah.
the Cornerian army or
Yeah.
fleet.
Didn't like that storyline.
I didn't like.
I actually kind of like the
I-
idea of Peppy being the general.
I don't.
okay.
I just don't like what they're doing with General Pepper. Getting, like,
I don't like the idea of my hound
like,
dog being
I
in
like
hospice.
the idea of Peppy being the general. I just would wish we didn't have to hurt General Pepper so much to make it happen.
We have to break his kneecaps
Yeah.
so that Peppy can walk. It's really cruel.
How do you guys feel about when it comes to like?
I feel almost
the-
nothing
the-
at any time.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, how do you feel about the tonal shift of some of the characters? Like the two that come to my mind is Wolf and Crystal. So like in Star Fox Adventures, Crystal is not very developed, but she's very headstrong and like very brazen. Like when she sees Fox, she just
She's
to be
not
fair,
in the game a ton, to be
no,
fair.
but to be fair,
but
her
she's-
few interactions are kind of like rough and tumble type of personality.
Very
Well,
independent.
yeah, no.
Then in Assault, she's like this like lilting angel that like
I'll
that has
tell you-
psychic abilities.
Well, she had psychic abilities in Star Fox.
A little bit,
Adventure.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but I'll tell you what she is. She's like a fainting actress from an old movie.
Yeah.
She's like a fainting actress from an old movie where she's constantly just like, a spaceship. You know?
Yeah, I know.
"Ah, I can't believe we're
Which is
in
nothing
space right
nothing
now."
like she was
Here's
in
the problem.
Adventures.
Here's the problem: is that you took a primitive woman from a dinosaur planet, you put her in a spaceship.
She's not from Dinosaur
She's not
Planet.
from Dinosaur.
It's cruel.
She has a spaceship.
She's wearing a loincloth.
That part, Crystal's old design was better.
No,
The other thing
you're
is-
sick.
Her design from Dinosaur
you
Planet,
mean
the
from
prototype.
Oh, that's what you mean. I
The
thought you
prototype.
meant between Adventure and Assault. I was
Oh,
like, you're
no,
a
no, no.
pervert. You're sick.
I mean,
What's
the
wrong with
whole
you? She's wearing clothes in
Her
Assault.
beta
the
design
whole-
was better.
yeah,
yeah,
Crystal,
that's fair.
yeah.
Well, no, Crystal is sad because the shift is terrible,
Mhm.
and then a game that we're not going to talk about is Star Fox Command. In that game, we're not going to talk about. They shift
Sure,
her
I've
again,
talked about it a lot,
But not back.
not back,
Just into a
she's
totally new thing.
totally new lady.
Yeah.
She's not the same lady at all.
I like her character design in Command though. It looks more
Oh, sure.
like a cartoon.
I'll
Fox.
tell you the person that I think is hurt the absolute worst post 64 is Slippy Toad.
Really?
Because Slippy Toad was in Star Fox 64 naive, maybe not
Sure.
the best pilot in the team.
Mhm.
You know,
Brilliant
Slippy
engineer.
gets
Mechanic.
himself into some trouble.
Yeah.
In Star Fox 64, and we got to go brave a dangerous environment to save
Yeah.
Slippy Toad. You remember this
Of
from the hit
course.
game Star
Right.
Fox 64?
Yep.
Do any of you know what the heck I'm talking about
Please,
ever?
please move
Okay.
on.
Titania.
Yeah.
So eventually, after Star Fox 64, that naive pilot
Mhm.
became literally a person who cries all the time and is doomed to die. Right?
Oh dear.
He played a different
Okay,
game.
Dial the
this
You know
is
what I mean?
objectively false.
No.
In Adventures, he's cocky and pushy like he is in.
I'm talking about Assault.
But in Assault, he's like
Dad, you're actually alive. I'm so. He's literally like
that's because
he's-
the tone is so grim. He
he's
can't handle
literally-
it.
he's
Slippy can't
I'm the
handle
same
it.
way. I'm crying through
I'm
all
also-
the salts.
He is
I was like,
yeah.
Slippy's dad is okay.
He's like a crying infant who they never should have cleared to be in space or cleared to
Slippy-
be outside his like care facility. Like he's in bad shape.
Anyone who's paid attention to this podcast knows that Slippy's my favorite character in the Star Fox crew. But I will say that Assault, I still like him in Assault. But Assault might be my least favorite depiction of him.
It is the worst.
His voice is just like a little grating. Like,
I mean, join the club.
Yeah,
Assault
no,
has the worst
Fox.
voice acting.
Yeah, he's not.
It's
I
really
has the
hard
worst
to
voice
follow.
acting. We can agree that
I don't
its
think
voice
there's a
acting is pretty
character
bad.
in Assault who's at their best or even close.
no.
I really
My
li-
question is, how do you
well,
guys
so
feel about
Wolf
I mean,
good.
Wolf's
No.
is good.
No, but here's the thing. Wolf is an icon in Star Fox 64.
I know.
He
Panther
is
is
a
bad, though.
fancy. He is a fancy little pilot man who
Oh,
has
yeah.
come to meddle in your affairs, right?
Yeah,
I
and
love
then they
it.
change him to like a fairly generic kind of brutish, good
Yeah.
anti-hero.
He's different,
right?
but he's still good.
He's not bad.
I like him, yeah.
But he was slaying in Star Fox 64.
He is.
was
Yeah.
so good in 64.
I can't let you do
He
that,
just, yeah, he just
Star
showed
Fox.
oh, I created to meddle in your affairs. Oh, right. And he went
He
from being
wasn't
like,
Captain Hook anymore.
yeah.
Mhm.
He went
No,
from
I
being
He
like
was
Captain Hook
yeah.
to being
That's
like
a great
the-
comparison.
Yeah, that's actually perfect. But he went from being like Captain Hook, very suave and kind of like that kind of like a little more cerebral villain, a little more scheming, charismatic villain, to being like the muscle of his team.
Yeah.
And I don't quite
here's what I'll say.
understand why they made
Yeah.
that.
You
He's
will-
still good. He's probably my favorite character in Assault. But that's not a high praise because it's like, yeah, he's still at least good. He's not Wolf anymore. He's like a
Like,
different.
I actually,
dude now.
I think Pepe's voice actor is the best in the game. To be honest with
probably.
you.
Voice actor,
Pepe,
yes.
Pepe and
But
Falco
here's the thing:
are the
what
best.
we're also
overall.
talking about, if I may, is a difference in the story of the character and the performance of that character.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you.
Right.
I think that Wolf's performance in Star Fox 64 is unmatched and not even
Yeah.
Much more
close
interesting.
in Assault. The story of Wolf in Assault, I
It's
like.
good, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
and
good,
so
yeah.
like, which parts are? If I was reading a novelization of the Star Fox Assault, which why would I do that? But I would be like, oh, I like Wolf's depiction in this even better than in 64. But if I was watching the performance, I'd be like, no, the performance
I
is
agree.
way
There's
better.
no reason that the character that was Wolf in Star Fox 64 couldn't do all the things he did in Assault.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
just would be saying the words differently and acting a little different, but like he could go through all the same steps. So I agree with you. The story is at his best. He's great. But like, why is his depiction so radically different?
Because they hired terrible voice actors. as part of it.
He's also huge. He's like Jack. He's
and actually,
giant.
no. Here's the
Yeah,
thing. I
that's
actually think that the voice acting. I don't think that all the voice actors are
Wolf's
terrible.
is actually okay.
I think Wolf's voice actor is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I like I said, Pepe
Pepe's
I think
good.
is good. Falco is good. I actually don't hate Slippy's too bad, but to be fair, the fact that he's got a lower tone than he does in 64 is a
Yeah.
little bit easier on the ears, and he sounds a little froggier, which, given that he's named Slippy Toad...
I know, but none of the
and
other
he's a
ones
Slippy
sound like Fox doesn't
How-
sound foxy.
How would they have made him sound foxy?
He's not-
he would make that little weird little.
Well, then that's actually what he does sound like in
It
Assault.
does,
So
so he
you know,
is.
they
no,
did make
Slippy's
him sound
voice
foxy
isn't
then.
bad. I
I think
I
he's
love
okay.
his original voice actress is great.
Yeah,
Her name is on the screen now.
God bless her. But here's the thing,
She was
though.
great. And
Well,
but back to Wolf.
Wolf.
Star Fox Zero and Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Not played either.
They both have like longer depictions of Wolf.
Yeah.
And I think the like suave British Captain Hook is better. I think it fits him better.
It's definitely better.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We can summarize all of this with none of the voice acting in Star Fox Assault is the best.
Right.
No.
Right? None of us are going to disagree on that point in the slightest.
I prefer the hit game Star Fox Command where they
Star
don't
Fox
have any
Command where
voices.
they don't talk anymore. Do you remember in Star Fox Command
you could make
can
your
record
own,
your
yeah.
voice
Record your own
and
voice.
it changes the little tones they make when they
Little
talk.
animal-
What a
Animalese.
weird feature.
Isn't that a
I
terrible,
know.
crazy game that we're not going to talk about
What a
anymore?
weird feature.
We're not going to talk about it, and we haven't talked
No,
about it.
well, the thing we really haven't talked about is that if you've played Star Fox 64, especially if you can listen to the uncompressed voice lines, the smoothest, like sexiest voice in Star Fox 64 is the Great Leon.
Oh yeah.
Great Leon.
Like when he first shows up,
Uh-huh.
that voice actor had like his like it was so smooth when he's like
Andros has ordered us to take you down.
Yes.
that like
Yeah,
like
it's incredible.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Literally,
They
he
changed
shows
it-
up in
it's
Assault
so-
and he's like.
he sounds like a Banjo-Kazooie character.
He sounds like Grunty
Yeah.
from
He's
Banjo Kazooie,
horrible.
and it's terrible.
Well,
and
it's
you're
because
like,
when he crashed on Venom,
Yeah.
he
It,
got
it
brain
broke
damage.
his brain.
Yeah.
Well,
Clearly.
his voice acting is terrible, but then they get rid of Pigma. I actually think Pigma's voice actor
It
is
is
good.
Yeah.
It's actually good.
Is
He's
actually
very good,
Maybe because it's not as different. Maybe,
No, it's pretty
maybe that's
similar.
it.
it's
but
like guttural and
you know,
deep.
Also,
but they
he
replace
can
him.
actually play the horror scenes really well.
He
So like
does,
when Pigma
yeah.
gets infected and turns into this nightmarish thing,
yeah, that is really
it's
good.
actually
Yeah, it is
good. It's like
Yeah.
I don't mind
Um,
seeing Pigma turned into a monster. You know, I just
Sure.
don't want
He
to see
already-
John Pepper.
He's
But-
less hideous as an
He
Aperol.
is actually
yeah.
less hideous.
But the problem is that they replace on the Star Wolf team. They replace Pigma with Panther. They don't replace Andrew, right? That's
Oinkeny. No, he's
Oinkeny
gone.
is
I
right.
think they
Andrew
replaced
Oinkeny.
Oinkeny with
Um,
Panther, and they didn't replace Pigma because you can't.
They just didn't replace. So there's just 3 of them now. They just aren't a team of 4.
No.
I don't know why they didn't
No.
create another one.
times are hard.
But of course, in the hit game Star Fox Command, Crystal does become, which we're not talking about it, but Crystal becomes a member of Star
Star Wolf,
Fox,
yeah.
a Star Wolf.
Yeah.
But Panther is a suave British man,
yeah.
Yeah.
and it doesn't work at all.
No, it doesn't.
Because he's like a pervert. Like his whole thing is that
He'll
he's
growl.
just like, "Hello, Falco, give me your ass." Right? You know, he's just
That's
like he's
actually
like
a
he,
great
he's like a
impression.
pervert, you know? And
Yeah,
it's
he's
like
not
it's like
great.
disgusting.
Yeah, it's
And
kind
you
of
feel
gross.
well, because here's the thing. We have the ability to somewhat forget and forgive that these are anthropomorphic animals,
Yeah.
and we just sort of accept them as human people, right?
yeah.
The second they talk about amorous activities of any kind, you immediately remember that it's a panther talking to a fox,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
like, interspecies relationships
Not okay.
make us uncomfortable
Make us
in this
uncomfortable.
context,
Yeah.
right?
Well-
So I don't, but he is the suave British guy that we're asking for
Yeah,
with the
but-
Star Wolf team.
Yeah, but Leon wasn't necessarily suave. He just had this like really smooth voice.
Because
that,
they're
like,
they're villainous British voices.
Yeah.
So they thought, I think that they were thinking
Realistic.
we've got to have some kind of British voice representation
Yeah.
here. It
Yeah.
doesn't work at all. They made it
No.
I also love
basically
that in
every decision with
64
that is-
when you first go to Fuchina to
Mhm.
fight Star Wolf, like they're like the big bad, and you know that famous line of can't let you do that, Star Fox, and like they're your evil counterparts.
Mhm.
Fox is like mildly annoyed. He's literally just like Star Wolf, just what I needed.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he does not
He's
care
kind of
about
It's a
them at
Saturday
all.
morning cartoon to him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
these guys again.
Yeah.
Team
So
Rockets.
This guy over
blasting.
here.
Team Rocket's blasting off again.
Yeah, yeah. It's not
so
a big deal.
I played a little bit of Assault because I still have our original copy and
Original copy?
and our original save file.
Original save file?
Um,
That was weird.
that was weird. No, so I played it again. The thing that I'll say, at least in my opinion, which is all that matters.
It's all that matters. Babe. It's
that
all that matters.
like if you play the R-Wing sections of 64 and then go straight to Assault, there's a marked difference. They're not as
absolutely. Well, they're not as good. But
so
here's,
the
here's
controls is the main thing. Like in Star Fox 64, the controls are like perfect. If you get good enough with that R-Wing, you can fly it like in the most crazy maneuvers. You can play the whole game without taking a hit.
of course.
Like
Which, to be
Assault
fair,
is
you
a
can
little.
play Assault without taking a hit.
I would like to see that because Assault is pretty sloppy and it feels more like a Namco bullet hell.
It's slower.
than
Your,
it
your R-Wing
does.
feels slower.
Yes. And it feel well, and like you never feel like you have a lot of control of the R-Wing. You have some, but it's a little like it has like a weird sort of like saw and weigh as you move.
Or like softness. To the
Yes,
movement.
softness
Yeah.
is a good way to say it. It's not bad by any means, but it's not the same caliber of.
No, but here's the
not that
problem, though.
crisp.
I think that it's quite good. I just
No,
think
I do
I
too.
think the issue is that when we're comparing Star Fox 64,
Yeah.
which is the greatest game
Yeah.
God ever created.
Yeah.
Okay, it is the single greatest game ever made. So when we compare sheer perfection of gameplay,
Yeah.
to anything else, it's very difficult to replicate that.
The movement in Zero though feels a lot.
I was
better
about to say-
than,
I mean, I haven't played it.
It's not as good as 64.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I
it's-
haven't
it's
played
a
it.
lot
I booted.
better than
Well,
some.
I played all of them just to compare, and so obviously Star Fox Adventures is very stiff.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like a
sad.
mini game.
Very
Assaults.
bubbly. All the like beams you fire are big and bubbly.
That's
everything's
very
sad, isn't
rare though. Like not rare as in uncommon. Rareware.
Rare.
That's
Rare
very
as in
indicative
terrible.
of rareware.
That's what he meant.
I played Zero. Zero controls amazingly.
Yeah, it's really tight.
I just don't believe you. I really just
The
don't.
thing
I don't
is, if
believe
you
at
don't
all.
like, I don't necessarily mean the aiming, the actual R-wing
Here's my
controls.
suggestion then, Quinn. Never play those games.
I'm never gonna
and
play.
keep not
Keep
believing
your
them for no
ignorant
rational
opinion.
reason.
Yeah.
I
like everything else you do. In
I
life.
haven't heard good things, but maybe I'm wrong.
No,
I
I
have
think
heard good things from you guys only, but I have heard only bad things from not you guys. But here's what
Well,
I'll say.
you gotta trust the random strangers on the internet.
Well,
Let's
I
give-
trust them more
let's-
than you.
Let's give our closing thoughts on Assault.
We'll give our
See
closing
what we
thoughts.
think.
Did we ever discuss multiplayer?
We literally spent the majority of our time talking about the story in a game that on the outset we said like the story is really
no,
what
no,
we
no.
put
I
this
said
game.
the story is
let me
great,
set
though.
the record straight. We spent the majority of our time talking about Star
The voice
Fox
acting.
Command.
Oh yeah, you're not
That's-
wrong.
this guy.
You're not wrong.
We did not talk about.
I do want
Let's
to touch
talk
on the
about-
multiplayer.
Yeah.
Rachel's absolutely right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
forget what I just said about
Well,
closing
this is the
thoughts.
best
We're
part.
cutting that.
Yeah,
This is the best part. We're
easily
gonna end on the
best
high.
part.
We're gonna end. We've talked for an hour about why this game sucks, and we're gonna talk for the next 5 minutes or so
Yeah.
About why it's-
about why it's good.
Why it's never been surpassed.
It's never been surpassed.
Well, here's what I'll say: fond memories.
Yeah, very fond
fond memories
It's-
of the multiplayer.
It's not like a multiplayer, when we're so used to these big like shooters, it's not like a Halo or a like one of those modern games where you have like online multiplayer functions where the multiplayer is the game, right?
No.
It's not it's closer to something like a GoldenEye where like the
Mhm.
multiplayer is fast and fun and zippy and you can screen cheat.
It's
Well,
a party.
yeah.
It's a party shooter.
yeah.
And it might
Effectively,
be the
right.
best party shooter ever made.
Yeah.
It's-
How
it
weird
is
is it
really
that Rareware
this.
was
Yeah.
so famous for putting in split screen, usually shooter-esque
Yeah.
multiplayers? They put it in GoldenEye, they put it in Donkey Kong 64, they put it in Banjo-Tooie,
Perfect Dark.
and then I think Perfect Dark has it too.
Is there another one too that
they-
we played recently?
Jet Force Gemini.
Jet Force Gemini. Yeah.
Then they make a Star Fox game,
No more.
doesn't have it, but then Namco makes another one that does have it.
Yeah.
So
To be fair, that's
bizarre.
because they had 25 minutes and $30
To
change it into Star
change
Fox,
it into
yeah.
a Star Fox game on a different console.
Yeah.
So I
we're
can't
going to
really,
talk about adventures.
Can't really
we're going to do a deep
We'll
dive.
do a deep dive of that.
Subscribe to see the
There's
deep
not
dive
enough.
on adventures.
There's not enough.
But
you
here's
dive
the-
into that pool, you break your neck.
Oh my god, man.
But here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about Star Fox Assault
good.
multiplayer.
Mhm.
Sort of goofy jankiness.
Yeah.
Oftentimes,
that good jank.
that good jank
Yeah.
that isn't
The
so
raw
because
jank.
The raw, goodness.
needy jank.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. There's jank that annoys you, right? And then there's jank that just makes you laugh. The
Yeah.
absurdity
Yeah,
just makes you laugh. And when you're with people who you feel comfortable to just laugh, pause the game and laugh for 5 minutes at,
No, yeah.
right? There were
So good.
too many moments.
Yeah.
The one moment that I remember super, super well, right, is we were playing. It was all four of us.
Yeah.
And I stopped. No, actually, I'm sorry. It wasn't all four of us. We had been playing all fours, and then we were doing 2v2s.
Yeah.
And Ethan and Devin were doing 2v2s. And
Like we were on the same team?
no. I'm sorry. It was 1v1s. So it was just you and Ethan playing
1v1.
1v1s. And you were playing as Slippy Toad.
Always.
You were playing as Falco Lombardi.
Even though he's
And-
terrible.
And you had a sniper rifle. And you had been sniping Devin. Now, mind you, they have this weird sort of tank controls where when you turn, you just sort of turn in a circle, and it's
Yeah.
like you're standing perfectly still, but you turn. there was this moment where Ethan has got him down the barrel. He's got him down the barrel, and it's Slippy facing the opposite way. And me and Ty are watching. We're just watching because we were switching off, right? Slippy horrifically turns and faces the camera. And he's got this like huge smile on his face. He looks like, like a grinning Ninja Turtle, He's got this huge smile on his face. And then Ethan shoots him through the head and kills him. Me and Ty, I genuinely think we laughed until we were both crying.
Yeah.
And the thing is that there were a million moments like
There's
that
so many moments
where the
like that.
absurdity of Slippy Toad, who is a Slippy Toad, getting shot through the head with a sniper rifle while he mugs down the barrel.
It was great.
And that's but those are the kind of moments that happen all the time.
Yeah. I loved an element that I understand why it's not in new games, but that I miss from old games was the fact that just like Slippy's just bad. Like he's just a worse character. He's slow. When he gets in an R-wing, they don't work as well. He has a really high jump. That's the only thing is his jump. Like he goes off camera.
Not useful.
But not useful.
Pepe's is better.
Yeah, Pepe has a higher jump.
It's incredible.
And then like also. Again, bizarrely in like rareware fashion. Remember how
he is the best at piloting the Landmaster.
He is
he gets a huge buff to his damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're better off not being in the Landmaster.
That's what I was
No,
saying.
actually, the Landmaster's pretty good in Assault. That's the thing that I like.
Yeah. But it's not as good as the R-Wing or
64's multiplayer, but we actually didn't play it that much. Yeah. I probably count on one hand.
64's multiplayer.
It's not very good.
I remember us playing it
it's
a
fair
number of times,
it's very
but it's
simple.
very simple.
It's dogfight simulator, and there's basically nothing else.
There's one map.
Yeah.
Tanks are almost impossible to win with, and the humans are impossible to win with.
The 3DS
you don't have a charge
multiplayer is better,
Much
and they
better.
took out the tanks and people.
Yeah.
They just added more
Assaults,
maps.
like I remember sometimes where like I'd play Assault, I'd get in a tank, and I would just dunk on everyone. Like it's totally possible. It's just like you could hide really well because like Corneria tanks.
Yeah,
tanks 8 on Corneria. You could hide under like little like in like the parking garages or the overhangs, and the R-wings would just be like zipping around. And you pop out and shoot them.
But Devin, you were saying about how Slippy is per usual.
Yeah, Slippy's just terrible. But again, just like Rareware used to do. Remember, like with
Wolf's just the best for some reason.
Yeah, the Wolf is literally just he takes a long time to unlock, but he's just better than everyone else. He's super fast, has all this health.
64, who was that way?
Crusha,
in Donkey Kong 64,
or was it Clubba? No, Clubba's
Clubba's in too.
Yeah, right, it's Crusha.
Kitties.
Better than everyone.
Yeah, no, there's just one
His
character.
dash attack
is
the only
To
thing.
be fair, one could say that with Wolf, that was somewhat of them putting a handicap mode in for other players. Like if you,
maybe.
Because I do remember that
it takes a long time to unlock him though.
Yeah, but once we had him unlocked, I remember you all would let me play as Wolf because it gave because obviously I was so much younger. It gave me. I was a little baby, walking around in my little diapies playing Star Fox. And I remember playing as Wolf because it, gives you somewhat of a handicap. If you can play as a better character.
He's super fast and strong.
So,
we used to do, my favorites was to have someone play as Wolf and then like 2 or 3 people just team on him. Because he would win still a lot. That's how good he was. I love the bazooka because in Corneria you can hide amongst the buildings, and when you just see a ship go by, the bazooka locks onto it, and you can actually shoot the R-wings down. It's like just a person.
If you jump out of the R-wing before it blows up, though,
you don't
dead.
die.
You're good. Yeah. But that was so.
And was there fall
cool.
damage? I don't know.
I do not think there's.
There was fall damage. No. But what's
also, if
funny
you got
is
out of it, it would unlock the missiles because there's no. They won't.
Yeah,
you could like get out and back in.
Well, if you get out, you would do like a flip, and then the thing would keep going.
Which I also remember with the Wolfens, because of the angle of the wings, it was so much harder to stay on the Wolfens.
It was, yeah.
And so I remember Devin and I were playing against you guys, and I got in a Wolfen. I was playing as Wolf, and Devin is playing as Slippy, and you love Slippy, but he was so terrible. I don't know why you didn't just give in and play as Fox.
What's amazing is I won some rounds with Slippy.
Yeah, sure, but
proving that I'm the best player.
No,
we tried. We tried to fly on this Wolfen, and every time he would get on the wing, it would literally he would slide off.
Yeah,
like a
because you're like in the
toad.
you're in the little crevice.
You're
not
in,
on the wing.
There's a little crook in
He's
the
covered in
wings,
slime.
right?
Yeah, he is.
Almost instantly, we finally get it to where he is on the wing and he is able to.
Yeah,
and we get right next to you guys, and he immediately falls off and lands in front of you and is gunned down with machine guns. And again, it's like moments like that where it's like obviously they didn't intend, maybe they did, but clearly not well. If they intended you to fly on the wing of a wolf,
no,
it wasn't planned out well. But it led to a moment like that where you two are grouped together, and just our plans are lifting up in the ship, going back down, lifting up, going back down.
Yeah,
finally
was
we
not
get
worth it.
Immediately, just not.
And we had like the rule of like don't shoot someone when they're trying to get on the wing. So we're waiting for you guys to get on the wing for so long.
I'm sure you were watching through your scope and laughing as Devin continued to fall off the wing.
One of the funniest was the time I had this like incredible fail was Quentin, you and Devin, you guys were fighting at the big like spiral in the desert, and you were chasing each other up, and I was so far behind on kills. You guys had so many more kills than me, and I was playing as Falco, and I get in an R-wing, and I'm flying around, and I'm trying to shoot you guys off of the tower, but while fighting each other, you're always just taking a moment to shoot me, and you're damaging my R-wing. I crash once, and then I get out, and I get in another R-wing, and I get up there, and I take a bunch more damage. And you guys are still just fighting as you like circle up through this, and it's so hard because you can walk like 3 feet and be on the other side and have to fly all the way around, right? And there's this part where there's like an arch, and you go inside of like the hollow for just a second. You just kind of go through the hollow. And for some reason, I thought I could fit the R-wing through there. So I turn it on its side and I go up and I fly up, and both of you have low health. And I'm like, this is it. This is my moment to pull ahead. And so I go, aha! And I just crash right into it. And your guys' screens are just fire for a second. And it was
unharmed, but
yeah, you guys are fine.
Yeah,
I'm dead.
Mega dead.
And I started a chain of every time I said the words aha, I was about to die.
You knew that was the moment Ethan was about to die.
The rest of Star Fox,
aha,
and then I was about to die.
That was when he got shot with a bazooka at point blank range.
I wish we could have recorded these.
Yeah,
I know.
Oh,
Wouldn't that have been terrific?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
We-
fun to see
Content
before
for
that
days.
time.
We would have had content for days, but-
my favorite part was the fact that like most characters like death screams when they would die and stuff were pretty mild, except Slippy's
where it is blood curdling.
He screams bloody murder.
Yeah, he literally. I mean, it is literally blood curdling.
I wasn't going to do it because it's a podcast, but thank you.
Well, I
for doing
moved away
that.
from the mic.
Oh, let's hope it.
Just for
I'll just
courtesy.
mute you for that part.
That's fine. But yeah, it is actually it's like listening to like a rabbit get caught in a snare.
Yeah,
I hear it in my
it is horrifying. Like they played that sound to get the Branch Davidians out, right? Like like when they were having their little fracas with them, they were playing Slippy's blood curdling death screams. It was horrifying.
But yeah, it is a game that like perfectly epitomizes the era that it's in.
Yeah.
Because it is Nintendo goes back to an old thing they did, and it doesn't quite live up in some ways, but then it has these elements that just knock it out of the park that we're all kind of sitting around going like, yeah, why haven't we had that again?
Yeah.
That's like all of late GameCube. Everything on late GameCube is like this time when like we were revisiting old ideas and something's gone a little bit. It's not quite landing like it did the first time, but man, there's like one or two elements that just blow you away. They took the Star Fox 64 and they didn't quite nail the single player the way it did. It's good. There's some things to like, there's some things to love, there's some things to dislike.
Yeah.
But man, they took the idea of like, what if the multiplayer was just bonkers good? What if it was just silly and crazy, but also had, like you said, a ton of weapons? The vehicles are really cool. The maps are great. Some of them are just perfect. Some of them favor Landmaster. Some of them favor people. Some of them favor R-Wings. Like, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
We probably played more Star Fox Assault's multiplayer than all the other games combined.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we played hours and hours of multiplayer.
They don't
we used to
make
just,
party shooters.
I don't know if you
like
remember
that.
this. Two of us sometimes would just run around the map. We weren't even fighting or anything. We would
It's
just
just cool
boot
to
the
run
game
around
up and just run
Yeah,
around.
well, when you're fighting asteroids and whatnot, you don't have a whole lot of time to just go and look at the sort of odd areas and things like
Do you
that.
remember the time, Quentin, that me and you were going to play against Ty and Devin? And so like the right before they came on, like we went and got the GameCube and we started up and we just ran around the map trying to figure out good places to like snipe
hide
them.
and yeah.
Because we had this idea of like I was gonna play as Falco and run through this one area. You were gonna already have a tank ready in that area to try and like, because we figured out where you could get a tank, and then we were like guerrilla insurgents. We blew the R-wings up because we didn't want them to get in it. We were like, if we shoot right over this hill, it'll blow this R-wing up and they'll have to run past us. I have no memory of how the fight went, but I do remember what you're saying, just running around the map trying to like
figure out those things. No, and I would go on multiplayer and I would set, even just alone, I would put another player. That way I could run around the map and just look at all the interesting details.
Yeah.
Because there are so many little neat things the developers put in where you're just like, if you don't have a moment to just quiet and look at this. But a lot of those maps are actually really nicely put together.
They are.
Our third-party controllers broke
all the time.
The last time we were playing Star Fox Assault right before the Wii came out.
Yeah.
And we were playing that and Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah.
And while we were playing Melee, you don't really need the C stick if you're bad at it. In Star Fox Assault, you absolutely do. And one of our third-party controllers broke, and it was like devastating. It's like, we just can't play this game anymore with 4 players because this one would like always aim up and to the right.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
It was like the last time we played it.
Well, to wrap things up, one thing that I forgot to say was that the cutscenes in this game are really beautiful. Before we leave, I totally forgot to mention that.
The
that
CGI ones.
If you look, the pre-rendered cutscenes,
pretty amazing.
Look those up on. Those look gorgeous. I love how nice those look. They have a really interesting art style too.
I remember as a kid being like perplexed why, because I loved Star Fox Adventures and still do. And it's like Adventures is one of the best looking GameCube games. They like went all out, 60 frames per second. Yeah. As a kid, I could not fathom how that happened. Like my little kid brain could not put together why Fox was blocky in Assault, and like his fur was just a texture. But then in the new game, bad graphics. Like I was like, why is his fur like matted down? Like he had realistic fur in Adventures. But for me, the biggest part of Assault was the fact of the multiplayer, and how it outshines the single player somehow. Even though like the single player is really good, but the multiplayer outshined it, and it's been a long time since that's been true of a game. Actually, I don't like to admit this. I don't like to say it.
Oh no.
The most recent example is probably Fortnite.
I've never played.
It was designed as like a zombie survival.
I don't know.
Game.
I think like Halos and Call of Duties, the multiplayer is usually what people.
No, I know, but I mean,
also not
Fortnite's the most
games.
recent example of a game that came out with its single player as its focus, but its multiplayer was so good. That's what everybody kept.
That's
playing.
true. That is a good point.
Right. Yeah.
Not an afterthought.
Well, I think we've talked Star Fox Assault all around.
We dove pretty deep.
We dove pretty deep.
We did not break our necks.
We did not.
It wasn't shallow.
And we didn't break our rule. We did not bring up Star Fox Command.
We didn't. Not once. Not even once.
We did not bring up Star Fox Command. Not even once.
So I think that's a success.
I'm glad you guys were here for Quentin's last episode.
See you guys. I won't be back.
Ethan's got a game.
Got a game.
We're gonna play a classic Power Up Brothers game.
Bumper?
What's it called?
Do you have a bumper for this?
It is called.
Bumper doesn't start till you say that name.
It is in fact called Who Wants an Extra Life?
Who Wants an Extra Life?
Welcome to Who Wants an Extra Life. I was going to call this Who Wants to Be a Mushroomaire, but that just didn't look right, didn't flow right. The M and the N switched up.
Yeah, no.
We're getting an extra life. So the way this game works is like all great games that start you off, you have 3 extra lives, right? Most Mario games, you start off with 3.
Okay.
So the way this works is that our fantastic producer, Rachel, will start off by answering the questions. And if she gets one wrong, then you guys lose an extra life. And it goes on to one of the rest of you
doomed.
Until you've lost 3 lives and it's the last of you. And then when you lose, it's over. So it's you guys trying to get as high of a score as possible.
Okay.
It's a
So we're
team
working
game.
together.
Yes, it's
Working
a
together.
team game.
I don't like this.
So Rachel starts us off. It's all Mario trivia.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough to make it Star Fox trivia.
Oh God! Wait,
so
it's
I
all
made
Mario
It's
trivia.
all Mario trivia,
Never get past Devin.
and it rises in difficulty.
Okay, I have. We're
Then you should go.
We're cooked.
You should go
it's-
second. Then
If Rachel's going, we can't help her.
We can't help her.
No, we can't.
Here's the thing. One time, she can ask for help from
like a
from
lifeline.
one.
You can ask
She
for
can
a
lifeline one of you.
Yeah, I was going to say. So we're all just going
Each
to
once.
lifeline Devin.
I love
No, well, no. Here's
Too
the
much
thing.
pressure.
You can lifeline Devin once, Ty once, and Quentin once.
Oh,
and that's
I
it.
see. We can lifeline each
okay.
other
All
one
right.
time.
Okay.
Okay,
One
gotcha.
time.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
One time.
All right, I
go.
think we get it.
Okay, so we start off with a pretty simple one. What does Mario use to fly in Super Mario Bros. 3? A cape. B, a propeller. C, a raccoon tail. Or D, a winged hat.
3.
In Super Mario Bros. 3.
Mhm.
Can you tell me what console that was on?
It is on the NES.
Ah, okay.
Bring your mic in just a little closer.
Okay. That would be a cape.
A cape is not correct.
Now,
I'm so confident.
Who would you like?
so we're not asking for final answer. Is that your
Yes.
final answer? Okay, just making sure.
Okay.
Who would like to go next now that you've lost one extra life?
Starting off so great.
Can I go next?
Quentin
Yes,
will go next.
Quentin.
will go
A
next.
raccoon
Alright.
tail.
A raccoon tail is correct. All right.
Thankfully, I'm guessing there's going to
Did
be
you click it?
newer.
There we
It
go.
is not doing anything.
It's not doing
There-
anything.
Yeah, you've got
Oh,
it.
wait for it. Nope.
Click.
There you go.
There you go.
Raccoon
Okay.
tail.
I'm guessing. So I'm guessing that there is going to be newer. Yep, there's going to be newer Mario games,
Yeah.
and
And you're
I
doomed.
am not going to know
You got
anything
this,
about
Joe.
You're
You
not
have to
gonna
go
do anything,
eventually.
but you can
You got
tag
it.
Rachel in now.
Okay, so
Not that you'd want to.
right,
But you
know, if
can.
I can.
Yes.
Well, you probably know more about the newer games than I do, to be fair. But maybe not.
Might-
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Rachel's not great under pressure.
Really not.
So, will this go to me again?
Yes,
Because
yes.
I'm
You
the
go
one-
until
right.
you now have 2 extra lives.
Okay,
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
All right.
we're cooked.
In Super Mario Galaxy, what celestial body serves as Mario's home base?
I want to point out this says question 3. Did we skip one?
We might have. No, I think he actually
No.
just labeled it incorrectly.
I probably just labeled it.
That's
Yeah,
fine. That's
yeah.
fine.
'Cause
No worries.
Some of the labels are a little off.
In
I've got
Super
the
Mario
You're good.
Galaxy, what celestial
Is it
body serves?
Planet
Okay.
Mushroom?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Is it B, Star Haven? Is it C, Comet Observatory? Or is it D, Luma Station?
It's the Comet Observatory.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yay.
I played that game.
Good job.
I was quite fond of Mario Galaxy.
Those were good names you came up with. These.
Mario Luma Station had me going, wait a minute.
I do
was
have to
it?
say this.
Well,
I had ChatGPT just generate a bunch of questions in the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style of Mario trivia, rising in difficulty. And then I used none of them except for that question. And
that
I
was
rewrote
good.
all of the answers because
Okay.
they were all
So it was
terrible.
useless. Yeah, it was
Wow.
useless.
Yeah.
They were useless. So next to
Okay.
useless.
Okay.
All right.
We did
Next question.
You gotta
It didn't
move
go.
and click again.
Once again, this
There you go.
Trouble.
What is the name
This one isn't even
of the
have a
kingdom
number.
ruled by Princess Daisy?
Yep.
I think I've got the wrong.
No,
I think
no,
I've got the
no.
rewritten ones on mine.
What is the name of the
No,
kingdom
that-
ruled by
that's-
princess? That's
I mean,
what we're
that's
looking at.
what
Yeah.
we're looking at.
Mhm.
It just doesn't have a number before it.
I think I've got the wrong. On my notes, I think I changed it on there.
Oh no.
So
I'll tell you what it is on
Yeah,
here.
for some
It's
reason
A,
not pulling-
Flower Kingdom, B, Zahasraland, C, Sahasraland, or D, Desert Kingdom.
Quentin, which is it?
I believe. Oh man.
Don't make my mistake. Phone a friend.
Yeah.
I might need to phone a friend.
Yeah.
But then again, I can only phone a friend. I can only phone one of you once.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're out.
See, the problem is that I'm pretty sure it's either B or C.
Okay.
Because Nintendo said we need a name that sounds like a desert kingdom, but not call it Desert Kingdom. So,
Okay.
to my ears, the C sounds the closest.
is that your final answer?
Podcast.
It's getting
content.
tense.
Silence.
Yes, I'm gonna say.
Well, remember, it has to have the music from Who Wants to Be a
Oh,
Millionaire.
right,
right,
I'm
right,
going-
right. Copyright.
I'll say C. Final answer.
That is correct.
Oh,
Good
Okay,
job.
very good.
Good job.
All right. And now I
Okay.
have the actual one up, so no more
Okay,
production
okay,
errors.
okay.
Cool.
Hopefully it actually
Great.
switches to the next.
I clicked on it and it just loaded the old broken one
Okay,
Oh,
weird.
that I made 2 hours ago before
Okay.
I made this one.
All right.
All right.
Next
So
slide.
is it up to the next slide
Nope.
yet?
No, it is not.
All right.
Because it never is.
So
No, it's not.
it is
still
not.
isn't?
Yep.
You want
Nope.
me to click it? 'Cause I
Oh,
There you go.
There we
There
go.
you
Yes, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Just don't
yeah.
accidentally click
Because-
it and show
yeah.
the answer like that
Yes.
right there. You just did it.
She showed
Yeah.
the answer.
Mother.
I can hit that.
Good news, boys.
I'll take this one, guys.
Good
We already
news.
know this
It's
one.
the Game and Watch.
Well, we know.
That's good.
I'm going to say C on this one.
Mhm.
You're
Fine.
good.
Rage, pass
Final
me
answer.
the. Pass me the.
No.
mouse.
Pass
No, it's
do it.
okay.
You can
Okay.
now.
You
All
just
right.
Click it.
Push
Yeah.
the button.
Just push it
One time.
There
There,
Okay.
it
All
did
right.
it.
Yeah.
How many
Quentin got it.
types of flower power-ups are there in all Mario platforming games?
That's the craziest thing you've ever said. There's been 10,000 Mario platforming games. What do you mean by that?
We're talking about.
Define your category, sir.
We are not including RPGs, where there might have been other types of flower power-ups, and you don't have to include duplicates like the fire flower showing up in a bunch of games.
This is 100
How many
unique
X flower powers
This is
are there?
100% a crapshoot, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say A and 7 because I like that letter and that number. Final answer, sir.
Oh.
Oh no.
That is incorrect.
Ah,
All right, who wants to be next?
Devin.
this is a tough.
You want me to go, or do you
It's
want
up
to go?
you.
That's
It's up to you.
You can save me as like the backbone.
Yeah,
so that
fair. I'll go.
I think he just doesn't
I'll
want to
go
answer
next.
this because this is impossible to know.
But this is really tricky. So I am going to phone a friend, and that friend is Devin.
That's smart.
Okay, so let's see. How many types of flower power-ups are there? I knew 7 was wrong, but let's see.
What's wrong? I can only think of 2.
yeah.
He was gonna say I know fire flower and ice.
Do you have the list of them? Because I'm gonna.
I do have the
question you
list
on
of them. I do
See.
indeed.
Go to your mind palace.
There, I can only count 8, so I'm gonna say you should say 8. I'm pretty sure there's only 8.
I'm pretty sure there's only 8.
Final answer.
Yes.
That is incorrect.
Oh, we're out of lives.
He
No, yeah,
destroyed
it's-
me.
All right, no more extra lives.
So it has
Devin,
to come
it's
to
you.
me. Okay, so I guess I just
Well, you
missed one.
No, but here's the thing: we've eliminated half.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not A and it is not B, so you know it's either C or D. So this is you got a 50% chance one way or the other.
We're not counting RPGs.
No.
I mean, I counted 8 in my head.
Say them out loud.
Huh?
But we can't help them.
Yeah, that doesn't help. I'm pretty confident with 9 then. 9.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
9 is
Okay.
accurate. You
Which
can
one
hit-
did I miss?
Wait, you can hit the button here.
All right.
What are all of them?
Nope.
list
Gotta
them.
hit it one more time.
They are boomerang flower, bubble flower,
Right.
cloud flower, fire flower, gold flower, ice flower, power flower, super ball flower, and wonder flower.
Super.
Oh,
The one
I
I would not have guessed is Power Flower, because that is only from Mario 64 DS.
I knew that one.
I have
can,
never
in
seen
fact,
that one.
confirm you made all that up.
I forgot
None of
about
that's
the
real.
ball.
I feel like
I
the
don't believe you.
difficulty
Ball
spike between the
flower.
previous
That
question
was
and this one
huge.
was enormous.
This
The
is-
goal
We are almost. We're getting.
You know what? This
We're
is
at the halfway
wiped
point.
out half the team.
Click the other one,
Click
Rach.
it.
Go
Yeah.
for
Click
it.
it. All right.
All right.
All right. In what vehicle does Bowser ride in the final boss battle in Super Mario World?
This is insane.
The Koopa Clown car, the Koopa Clown blimp, the Koopa Clown copter, or the Koopa Clown machine?
Did you say the Koopa Klux Clown?
Yeah.
Is that what you
Yes.
just
He
said?
did.
Correct.
What is this
he
game
did.
series?
You can't phone a friend, Devin.
That's
all
true.
your friends who got the questions
Yeah.
wrong.
To be fair, I think I know this one.
I think
Yeah.
I do too.
I'll phone you. Which one
Don't
do you think
phone
it
me.
is?
Go just phone. Just
Oh,
do
okay.
it. Don't phone me if you know
It's
it.
not the clown car. I know that one because he's flying. What I'm old game would call it Koopa Clown machine, but
Would it?
yeah, but it's also not a blimp. It's got a propeller on it. So I'm almost positive that it is C, the Koopa Clown copter.
Final answer.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
Let me take a crack at it. Just let
Okay,
me
wait
do
a
it,
second. Here's the
Chief.
thing.
Put me back in.
You have your first game over.
Oh, okay.
How many
And
game
this is-
overs do we have?
Till we finish all the questions. You got your first game over.
Okay.
So the goal is to get fewer than 4 game overs,
Okay.
right? Because you can all get knocked out, you get a game over.
Right.
Right? So it's back to you, Rachel.
Oh,
Without the
God.
Koopa clown, which one?
Copter.
Copter.
Mhm.
And you have your phone a friend.
You have your phone a
Phone
friend.
and a friend.
Who?
Ty, you said you think you know it?
Yeah.
All right.
It is the Koopa Clown car.
How confident are you in that?
50%.
All right.
The only other one it could be is the blimp.
I'm going with a Koopa Clown car.
That is correct.
Oh,
Really?
I am very
You really
confused
should- you
because
should
I
have
looked it up
phoned.
like 5 times and was like, it's a car? Yes.
It is the Koopa
Even in
Clown
Mario
car.
World, they call it a car.
Yep.
Baby Bowser
I
in
figured that
I
you
wanna
would.
I want to fact check.
No,
the fact
here's the
checker.
thing.
I'm
Baby
about to
Bowser
say,
can turn it
really?
into a car in Smash Brothers.
Right.
It was always called a car, and I never remember it driving.
I
Huh.
figured that you would
No.
not need to phone me or Ty on that one.
You can click
but
through now to the next
but-
question.
that is confusing because
Yeah, true.
you know.
All right.
Oh no.
Not counting Mario Kart Tour, how many tracks are in Mario Kart that are based off non-Mario IPs? So to clarify, Donkey Kong doesn't count, Wario doesn't count.
Sure.
These are connected to Mario.
So you mean like Zelda or
Exactly.
Metroid if they have them?
I might
This is still me.
Yes,
string
it's still
him
you.
up on this one.
Okay. So our options are 4, 6, 5, or 7.
Yep.
Who should I phone? Should I phone Ty?
It wouldn't help you because I don't know.
I don't know either.
Devin.
So we'll go through it.
Okay.
So there is 2 F-Zero tracks.
No, it just how they would count F-Zero would be one.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
not.
how many
saying
non?
individual
I'm sorry.
tracks.
How many non-Mario games get
Are
tracks?
represented.
If they get more than one, you don't have to count. all
F-Zero
of
just
them.
counts as one.
So how many non-Mario
Oh.
IPs?
Yeah, how many non-Mario
Okay,
IPs are?
that's confusing because it says how many.
I'm
tracks.
sorry, yeah,
No, you're
because
good.
I just went through and
Okay,
counted.
so there's F-Zero. There's Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
There's The Legend of Zelda. There's Splatoon, which isn't really a track. It's a battle arena.
It counts.
Does that count?
I would count that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then like let's see, in older ones. Well, here's my little clarification question for the host.
Mhm.
Does it count if it's like the big Nintendo DS that you drive around on?
No.
No. Rob was in DS, but he doesn't have his own track. So there's really, let's see, F-Zero, Zelda, Animal Crossing, Sploon. That's it. 4.
All right.
So on my list, I did count both the F-Zero maps. So so if you think if you have that,
If you say
it's fine.
4,
Oh, okay. So there's 2 F-Zero tracks. There's a Hyrule track. There's a Splatoon battle track, and then there's the Animal Crossing track, which would be 5.
Okay.
B.
All right. B 5.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is not correct.
So are we counting IPs or individual tracks?
We're counting tracks, but that's
I'm so confused.
you had 5. No, you
we've
got
gone
all.
back and
Everyone
forth
you said
on
was
this.
correct,
Okay.
and you
Okay.
did not
But he-
forget any tracks from those 5 series. There is another series.
That-
So you said
that
4
you're missing.
series. F-Zero gets 2, right? So you're good on that.
Right.
So you were accurate up until that point, but there is one or more that you are forgetting.
So who goes after Rachel now that she lost her life?
It's back to Quentin.
Back to Quentin.
It's the original order you guys go in.
So we know that it's not 5, and we
Yeah.
know that it is more than 5.
Yes.
Therefore,
Right.
it cannot be 4, which
Alright.
means that I have a 50-50 chance.
I'm trying to figure out which the other
which
one
is-
would have
which
been.
is lovely here.
You said Donkey Kong doesn't count.
Donkey Kong does not count.
Right.
Are you
6
count-
final answer.
It is one I would not have guessed. Would you? What
I
you say?
said 6 final answer.
You are correct, sir. The other one is Excite Bike.
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
that's true. That's
I
true.
would have actually lost because I
Yeah.
didn't know Splatoon was a map.
I didn't know any.
I
Of
saw
it's
the
a
Urchin
battle-
Underpass,
yeah.
and I was like,
It's a
"That
battle
is
map.
that even?" I had to look up Urchin Underpass to see if it was actually Splatoon or just.
I
local.
completely
that's
forgot
a big
there was a
L. I
Zelda
forgot
map.
about. I forgot about
That's
Excite
like one of my
Bike.
favorite
Bike
tracks.
is-
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Excite Bike.
Excite Bike. I
Alright.
kind of forgot about it
is a
too.
Mario IP.
Yeah,
when
it's
the
a
guy
Mario
takes his
IP.
helmet off, he's Mario.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how it works?
You can click through to the next question.
Okay.
On to Quentin.
In Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, what is the name of the dragon guarding the first crystal star? Is it
man.
Hooktail, Gloomtail, Bonetail, or Flurrytail?
I haven't phoned a friend yet. I am phoning my friend Devin.
Hello.
Devin, because when I first glanced at it, I was like, 1,000-year door question. I've got this down, and
I don't want to make it too easy for Quentin, so I'll just say.
you're going to say the
For God's
answer.
sake.
I'll just
buddy
say
boy.
the. I was gonna say swoggle me eyes.
That's not no.
That's a line from Captain
Yeah,
Hook.
I know.
Tail.
So
Tail.
A final answer.
A is correct.
Thank goodness.
You can click through to the next one. I remember
thought
that dragon
it was
being like
Hooktail,
the
but
thing
I
all
could-
the advertisements
Yeah,
showed for that
big
game.
bone
I
dragon.
remember, but I could. Yeah.
This is my personal
Get it.
favorite question and my personal favorite answers for all of them because I
Yeah.
actually think this is the hardest question here.
I know. I hate that Quentin used my phone a friend. just
What does the
now.
acronym FLOOD stand for in the hit game Super Mario Sunshine? Does it stand for A, Flash Liquid Ultra Dousing Device, B, Fluid Liquid Ultra Dousing Device, C, Flowing Liquid Ultra Dousing Device, or D, Fast Liquid Ultra Dousing Device?
So here's the thing: fluid liquid ultra dousing device is so stupid. Nintendo might have written it.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I believe in you, Quentin. You can do this.
Liquid. See, flowing
can
liquid
do
ultra
this.
dousing device makes the most sense to me.
Mm-hmm. I can't help you.
It makes the most sense to me, and so I want to have faith in Nintendo and say that they said the thing that makes the most sense.
Okay.
But it's Nintendo,
Right.
and they're
Correct.
known for not
Correct.
being the company
Correct.
that makes the most sense. You know, I'm gonna phone Ty. Ty,
I think it is Flash Liquid Ultra Dousing Device.
Flash Liquid? A? Really?
I mean like in my brain that makes sense, but I haven't played this game in a decade.
Oh my god. You know,
I played it a few days ago.
this feels like a
Of course.
total crapshoot because I said two possibilities and you said a third one. So you really only made my ability to choose more difficult. This Flash Liquid Ultra Dousing Device sounds stupid.
It
You
might
know
be
what?
it might also be D. I don't know if it
Fast
is.
Liquid. You know what?
Believe in yourself, Quentin.
I'm going to, believing in myself, I'm going to say that Nintendo is the stupidest company on planet Earth, and it is Fluid Liquid Ultra Dousing Device.
Is that your final answer?
No, I'm going to say Flowing Liquid Ultra Dousing Device is the final answer.
Number C?
Yeah,
letter C.
C.
Yeah, number C. Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is incorrect.
Oh God, I should have said that Nintendo.
It is to you, Ty.
Oh my gosh.
Planet Earth.
He eliminated one of the ones I already knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
That one makes so much sense.
Ty can phone a friend, can he?
Yeah.
Which is me.
I'll phone Devin on this one because
Maybe regretting that.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll phone
It's
you.
Flash Liquid.
I
Yeah.
freaking knew
Yeah.
it. It's A. Final answer.
Correct.
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
Flash
God.
Liquid.
I
I,
should-
really
Liquid
like
Ultra
that
Dousing
one
It's a
because
good
I just
one.
changed the first
Flash?
word and all.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
I knew it was
No
old-
idea.
I knew it
It's
was
like
liquid
that it
ultra
goes
dousing device
shoots out
100%, and not
Wait, you mean that
changing
it
that on any of
flows?
them was
It
genius.
It doesn't. It doesn't
Yeah.
flow. It like
flows out.
explodes out.
Yeah.
How I came up with that was I just read it and I was
I want
like,
you to understand what the word flow means.
I
son.
also love that you put
Okay.
fluid liquid ultra dousing
I-
device. I knew that was the perfect
That
bait
is
for
absolutely
coin. That is the perfect
I
bait for
came up
coin.
with that by reading it and I was like, all of these make too much sense except for Flash. If I just change that, it's going to be so hard to figure
Yeah,
out.
no.
All right,
All right.
one more, Rach.
We're getting into the final two questions.
We're getting there.
These are the big
Okay,
ones.
and who is it to?
It's still to
Oh,
tie.
it's still the tie, right?
All right. In canon,
This is insane.
how many years are between the games Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's or in Mario's Mario World, the time in between Yoshi first meeting Mario and then being reunited with him. How many years?
I literally do not believe you when you said
This is kind of a
There's no-
how old is Mario question,
Yeah, it
because
is,
Mario is a newborn baby in Yoshi's Island, and he's being delivered by the stork and dropped off, and then obviously he is a full-grown grown-up in Mario World.
Right.
But how old is Mario, like, canonically?
Yeah.
I don't think he is 30 or approaching 30, though people might be confused by that because he looks like he's 40.
Miyamoto not too long ago commented on his age.
Yeah. I think it's B, 24 to 25, because I don't think he's 21 either. I think he's a little older than that.
Okay.
So I'm saying B, final answer.
That is correct.
Yeah, yay! I'm glad you got that.
Don't
one.
hit anything yet,
Very nice.
because I thank God I had this one up. I noticed that I've messed up the final slide.
Oh.
In posts, as you're watching this,
It's not messed
It
up.
isn't messed up.
Look
Look
at
how
that.
perfect it is. It's right here on screen.
Yeah.
Listen,
Just tell us the questions.
now we haven't talked about this on the podcast, but you guys know that I'm a part of an elite group.
Yeah.
That call themselves Plant Gang.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
I am one of
Plant
those
Gang.
insane players
Yeah.
that has Piranha Plant in Elite Smash,
Yeah.
where I make people regret their choice to play Super
Yes.
Smash Brothers.
You're the
Yeah.
only person
And-
in the world who was excited when Piranha
Yeah.
Plant got
Absolutely.
announced as a new
Yes.
character.
What a fantastic use
Yeah.
for the limited amount of character slots.
The only person you would have liked more would have been Monty Mole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hope he's in
You are
Smash
right,
Ultimate
my
too.
Quinn. Quinn, my friend, you are correct. Ty,
Next
how
question?
many? How?
No, don't
No,
click
don't
it because he
hit
messed up
don't
the
hit
slide. So he's just gonna ask it.
All right. Here's.
He was working on this until like we left. That's why we're late.
It's actually a bit bigger in how I'm going to word it than it would actually show up on screen, so this is good. Starting with Naval Piranha in Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, the best Mario game, and ending with Pita Piranha in Paper Mario Color Splash. How many times has a Piranha Plant been a boss or mini-boss in a Mario game?
You're gonna have to read
This
the
is-
options because we can't see them.
This is truly the big question. Is it A, 10 times? Is it B, 14 times? Is it C, 19 times? Or is it D, 22 times?
This is in any Mario game.
Any RPGs count. Everything counts. Every
never played
Mario
RPG.
game.
All I'll say is that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games. What was the maximum number again?
D22.
I'm just gonna say D, 22. Final answer.
Okay.
That is incorrect.
All right, we know that D is not
It
it.
goes to Devin. The final,
Don't you get us
word,
game over?
Yeah.
we are left with A, 10,
Mhm.
B, 14, C, 19.
Does Tetris Attack count?
It does not count.
Okay. But Yoshi games do.
Only
yeah.
Mario World counts.
The Mario World 2,
Yes.
Yoshi's Island. Okay, so
I do not
Yoshi's
believe any of
Story.
the others in the
Crafted
tally I
Worlds.
see. I don't believe
doesn't-
Crafted Worlds count.
Okay, well that changes it up a little bit.
What are the options again?
10, 14, and 19.
10, yes, 10, 14, and 19.
So I'm going to say if the RPGs are not in it,
They are.
or not the RPGs, if the Yoshi games are not in it, that does cut it back a little bit. Here's my big question. Do the goopy Piranha Plants count in Mario
If
Sunshine?
it says the word Piranha Plant, it counts.
Okay.
I don't know if it says Piranha Plant on those. The goopy ones from Sunshine.
Well, buddy boy,
There's a lot of
You're
those.
gonna have to figure it
Yeah,
out.
I know. I'm going to say, I'm going to lock it in, Ethan. Lock
right.
it in at 19.
Is that your
Final answer.
You are correct.
Yeah.
We have a winner. You guys only got one game over. That is so good.
Hey.
Shocking.
Fantastic. And you guys nailed the last two. That's
Yeah.
surprising.
If this were the real game show, we would walk away with nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, no, we would probably. They have like.
I mean, Ethan said we're getting
they have
100
amounts,
bucks.
so like you walk away with
It's
like.
right there on the
Walk away with
screen.
20.
you get an
Yeah.
extra
Right.
life.
Right.
Just wait till you die. I
Yeah.
guarantee you,
Okay.
you got an
Yeah.
extra
I'll be
one.
back.
We got 20 coins.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Ethan, thank you for the game. That was fun.
That was
very fun.
that
I
was
like
fun.
that a lot.
I should say next time I should just not play because I was answering these questions in my head.
Yeah.
Every single time I got it wrong.
Oh no!
Well,
So confident. I was
Here-
like,
I mean,
Next time the
Yeah.
question
I
is going to
wanted
be
them
about
to-
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
we'll-
I wanted them to have
Yeah.
3 lives.
Yeah.
You know, so they have to have the
Yeah,
3
yeah, yeah.
extra lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And next time maybe
That
it'll
was
be
fun.
themed around the actual talking point we have. Maybe Star Fox
Star
theme when
Fox.
we're talking about
That's
Star
fine.
Fox.
Then we'll
We're gonna
all
talk
get
about-
the
we're gonna-
answers all wrong.
Maybe.
We're going to talk about Star Fox Command.
Man.
Yeah, that'll be the
very
next
soon.
one.
See,
Definitely.
what we really need, Rachel, was we still needed the slided scale of
Yeah.
of doesn't know very much to doesn't know very much to knows
Doesn't
quite a
very
bit
much.
more
Doesn't
to
know very
knows
much.
all the things.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Your
true.
sliding
Yes.
scale
Yeah.
is a ledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a sharp.
The numbered
Right.
ones got me because I had to
The
sit
numbered
and
ones were
count.
really
Yes.
hard
Yeah,
part.
I-
I can't believe I knew a question that Devin didn't.
I can't believe I
know,
forgot
that was-
Excite.
That's
Bike.
shocking. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if we
the
won
Flood
that
one was my
game.
favorite.
I don't know if we lost, but what I do know is that we recorded a podcast.
We sure did.
did.
We're
We
still here,
recorded a
guys.
podcast.
Thank you for being here with
Thank you
us. That's
so
awesome.
much.
Is somebody
Being
going to say something
Yeah.
about people subscribing and liking and joining our
No,
Patreon?
we don't do that.
I don't
at
know
the
why
end
would we do
anymore.
that. I don't know
Maybe
why we do
someone
that.
could-
No one made it this far.
Guys, if you're still watching, thanks so much. Go down there and leave flash liquidizing ultra dowsing device.
Yeah,
in the
please.
comments.
Or any of
Or
the
any of
answers
the-
to that
yeah,
question.
any of the
Or another
answers.
good suggestion for what flood could mean.
Or tell us what your favorite ending in Star Fox Command is. A game we
Yeah.
didn't talk about tonight,
That you
but
definitely
Game of the year, Star Fox
Game of
Command.
the year,
Year.
Star Fox.
See you guys next week.
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye. Rachel's here.